Quiet on set!
And action.
Welcome back to Quiet on Set. I'm Ewan and this is Kevin.
We watched a total of roughly 500 movies between the two of us this year. Honestly, what a powerful duo we are.
Yes, you've seen around 240 or 30 films, and I watched around 425. So barring some overlap, I'd say we've covered the year quite well. Today we're presenting our top 25 films of 2025, plus a ton of honorable mentions, and really we have a ton of honorable mentions, but instead of revealing those right away to keep you from spoiling our individual lists, we'll save them for later on.
We haven't revealed our favorites to each other yet, but since we talk about movies to each other all the time, we have sort of an idea what each other's lists look like. So we're in for an exciting journey, one that took almost a year to be precise. So without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and most importantly, open up your Letterboxd account so you can add all the films we mentioned to your watch list if you haven't seen them yet.
Now I grabbed a snack and I took a bite of it. We'll go back and forth with 5 movies each, starting at 25 and ending at 1. It's simple enough. Before we start off, you might question yourself later on, why didn't they mention my favorite film yet? Well, that might be because we haven't seen it, although it is, looking at our lists and what we've watched, pretty unlikely, but it's just more likely that it's in our honorable mentions. And we can't get around to everything before the end of the calendar year, so we'll do a follow-up after or shortly before the Oscars will take place, a part 2 of this best of 2025. We're also going to crown best performances, the best moments, best quotes, stuff like that in that video as well. Kevin, let's get into it. Start us off with your ongoing watch list.
For the people at home that missed that jab of Ewan, I'm quite infamous for constantly searching for new movies. Like my watch list, in general, is even approaching almost 8,000 movies. And so I have a list of every 2025 movie I have already seen and that I've yet to see, mostly because of accessibility or the fact that they haven't come out for me yet here. Also, damn you spillover movies, because, the reason we are doing a part 2 is because there are some movies that come out in January, February, that define as 2025, so I hate spillover movies. Yeah. But here are the most notable and possible absentees of my top 25. Marty Supreme, Hamnet, Rental Family, Nuremberg, Is This Thing On, The Secret Agent, Sorda, 100 Meters, My Father's Shadow, Pillion, The Plague, Magellan, and Nemurabaka, Hypnik Shirks. Those are my movies. I know it's a weird one to end on, but what about you, Ewan? Are there any movies you didn't see this year that you feel like could potentially have made it onto your list?
Well, I feel like I was quite lucky with that I got to see a bunch of these spillover movies before the end of the year. Thankfully, one of the films that I got to see still was Marty Supreme at a private screening that I wasn't even invited to, and we were 4 people in that screening room.
Lucky you.
So I got to see most of the stuff, but the reason why we don't like the spillover is as well because if you look at other pundits, other outlets lists, especially the international ones that aren't from the States, a lot of it is stuff that we consider to be last year, or even the festival stuff we've excluded from our lists as well, stuff that we call at festivals, because it would be kind of a double mention as well. So we kind of go by, we'll have a couple of festival movies on our list as well, because we did go to a few of those, which might still release for you. That's why you need to be ready and have your watch lists. For me, on my watch list still is Rental Family, Is This Thing On, Nirvana the band, the show, the movie, The Rivals of Amziah King, 100 Meters as well, and the Christophers, and a lot of these films haven't even released yet in the States, or at least just only limited release. So it's a bit of I basically got to see everything this year. I'm very lucky. I don't really have much to complain. But let's not dilly-dally around any longer, Kevin. Kevin, let's get the show on the road. Kick us off with your first 5 picks from 25 to 21.
And Ewan, I'm already gonna cheat a bit. So I have.
Look at this guy.
I know. I did it with the Venice reviews. I'm gonna do it now, but there's a good reason. So I have a tie at number 25, and the special mention that I'm gonna give it to. So technically it would be 26, but it's Black Mirror Eulogy. It is the Paul Giamatti episode, and I still think that is one of the strongest 45 minutes of storytelling that I have seen this year. So it doesn't qualify as a short because apparently everything under 40 minutes is a short. But look, tremendous performance from Paul Giamatti, and it's just heartbreaking stuff. There's like zero fat in that episode or anthology film, if you want to call it that way. I don't really want to talk about it more because it is only 45 minutes, and I don't want to spoil any story beats from it. But absolutely devastating movie. Paul Giamatti is amazing in it. If you don't watch Black Mirror, just go watch this particular episode because I do really, really love it. But that special mention out of the way, my number 25 is Bob Trevino Likes It, the movie of Tracy Lehman starring Barbie Ferreira and John Leguizamo. I adore this movie. I think this movie portrays anxiety, depression very honestly and very accurately. I think Barbie Ferreira is a tremendous performance. She would be my top 5 actresses of this year, which is a stacked category, but I absolutely love her performance. And just the way this unlikely connection between the two that they garner through Facebook, which nowadays, like, you would instantly block that person. But it is a story that is based on true events, as you can see in the credits. Bob Trevino Likes It, a heartwarming movie. Absolutely love this one. Number 24. You know, there came like a few of these movies out this year. You had Killers of Killers, you had Badlands, but then you also had Predators, the documentary that is. There is no actual sci-fi alien creature in this. But again, I had to pause this movie 1 minute or like 2 minutes in because they start out with this like nasty call towards like a younger lady and this older guy, and I just had to pause it because like it irked me. It was so cringy. But then you realize, oh yeah, this is played for a spectacle, for entertainment. You know, I thought, okay, we're getting into this documentary, you're gonna investigate like the spectacle of this reality TV series and why we are so drawn to it. And you know, I thought that was the beginning and we're gonna end into this investigation, and all of a sudden you get this second chapter where it talks about potential, copycats that are out there that are trying to do the same thing, but are also doing it in a harmful way. Again, You Got Skeeted is one of the most bonkers things I've heard in a movie this year. And then you get to the third part in this documentary where you see this guy who started off this journey, or this, genre, I guess, and where he started from good intentions, just straight down the path because people say, oh yeah, we love watching this and this, and like there's something very sinister about Predators, which makes sense considering its topic. Really well shot documentary as well, as you get the different camera angles and the way it's presented. I do think this is one of the stronger documentaries of this year. It is a bit of a shame that it didn't get on the Oscar shortlist, but it also makes sense because I do think some people could quite easily watch this as, a Netflix documentary because of all this true crime, and I don't think that's the case. So please do watch Predators. It's a very, very good documentary, especially the way it is presented. Then we move on to number 23. Ewan, this is one for you. It's Heldin, Late Shift, Petra Volpe's movie from Switzerland starring Leonie Benesch, who is one of my favorite actresses of this day. Every time I see Leonie Benesch, whether it be in September 5, The Teacher's Lounge, she has been in so many good movies, and this one isn't that different. And there have been a few of these, nurses, hospital movies this year. The other one I would like to mention is Second Victims, which is a Danish film, if I recall correctly. But Heldin or Late Shift is this movie about a night shift essentially, and she's so stressed because of all the things that she has to navigate, the people that are like being on her ass, like, hey, I need this, or like you need to do this, and it becomes so stressful. But you also see some beautiful connection that she's making with her patients out there. So yeah, Late Shift, good movie. Then we got actually the all good movies. I don't know why I'm saying that, but hey,
good movie. It's a good way to end. Like, it's just a good movie.
Number 22. I know you didn't like this movie at all, but I did. Yes, it is a festival movie. It is Fartie or Endgame. Yes, yeah. It is number 22. It did make into my top 25. I adore the presentation of this movie, the way that it retells the same story, but across different, people, characters. You have this blind father and his daughter. You have a couple that is being in an apartment, and, it's a secret love. They're like cheating on each other, but by acting out a play. I absolutely adore the going back from narrative, the people that are singing this song, and it is such an original movie, and I know it won't be for everybody because Ewan didn't like it at all. we had like quite a discussion about this movie at the Venice Film Festival, but I adore the presentation of this movie. I do like the way it's shot. It is not perfect at all because I do think it is a directorial debut and there are quite a lot of imperfections to this movie. But I also think at the same time that's what makes it so charming. So Fartie, Endgame, should it ever release, we'll definitely shout it out again.
It's not a directorial debut. It actually has made a ton of movies. Yeah.
Oh. Whoopsie.
Whoops. It feels like one to me. Sorry. This is your list. I'll go back to the back seat.
Yeah. All right, number 21. This was a late entry, but If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You made it in number 21. Mary Bronstein's new movie about this mother that is struggling, keeping everything together. She has a hole in her apartment. Her daughter needs feeding, like she needs to gain weight. Her husband is away, and at all times she's a therapist and she needs to go to therapy. What a unbalanced life she has, and this is one of the most stress-inducing movies I have seen this year. I watched it right in this chair, but I was leaning all the way back. I was way lower than I am right now, and my hands were in my head, on my head. I could not believe what I was seeing and all the struggles this woman is going through. My God, it is it is something, and it is a great performance. I'm not the first person to say this. I'm not gonna be the last person to say this. But Rose Byrne, my goodness, what an actress, what a performance. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Not for everybody, and if you really wanna, kill yourself, watch If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You and Die My Love back to back. I think, that would do the trick.
That would be an intense afternoon.
So those were my 26 to 21. Yeah.
Exactly. You get 26. Do I get 27? Because
No.
I am 27. I'm 27 years old. Do I get 27?
No, you don't get any. I'm sorry.
Okay. I don't get any? Okay. Well, go on. Give me your number 20 pick then.
I'm kidding. So any surprises for you?
I didn't have Fartie on my on my radar for you to actually make it in your top 25.
Oh, okay. So that's a surprise.
Yeah. I mean, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. I definitely, when you were like doing that late edition of watching that, I wasn't surprised at all. that could make it in. And with Bob Trevino likes it, I feel like you look at that poster and the premise and you might think it's sort of a VOD movie that doesn't have a lot going for it, and I like that movie quite a bit as well. I just forgot that it resonated so much with you. I feel like an updated version of this, where it's like not the Facebook, but it's like an AI that you're talking to, and then looking at that sort of loneliness.
That's just her,
like,
innit?
Like I feel like that could also be interesting if it's done by the right person, right? That sort of further exploration of loneliness, and that sort of there's some good movies in here, and not everything that I loved, and also from the first 5 that they have. It's not going to be the last mention. Some of those are also on my list.
Yes. All right. Well, how about we get on to yours?
Well, let's kick it off with my first 5 picks from 25 to 21. At spot number 25, I've had this film present in my mind for so long throughout the year, where the sort of warm feeling it gave me just thinking about it kind of stayed with me for a long time. At spot number 25, I got the Ballad of Wallis Island.
Oh,
a film from James Griffiths, which stars Tom Baston, Tim Key, Carey Mulligan, and it's basically about this guy played by Tim Key who won the lottery, and instead of, I guess, spending it on something grand and buying something expensive or just living a luxurious life, he lives on this little island in sort of solitude, with a few people around him on the island as well. Invites over a member of a band that he really loved back in the day, and that haven't really played back together because they split up. And it turns out he also invites, they were a couple, and he invites both of them, but he doesn't tell them at the start. And then you feel like it's going to be all about the hijinks of sort of like a comedy. There's a lot of comedic bits in this film, but a lot of it at the heart of it all is like, why does he love their music? Why do they love making the music? It's just about as much as them as it is about the lottery winner. But Tim Key brings such a warm energy to this all, where it's so like he has the way that he looks at them is just he's just so excited all the time, and it's just a bit too much as well. It's obviously also very creepy what he does. It's so incredibly creepy. I caught myself smiling. There's a bunch of really nice music being played in this as well, and something that just stayed with me all throughout the year. Then at spot number 24, Kevin also mentioned it on his list just earlier. The Swiss entry to the Oscars, Heldin, or Late Shift, is also on my list. Petra Volpe is a very successful Swiss filmmaker whose films, every time they do come out, they make quite a splash every time. I had the chance to talk to her earlier this year about the film as well in an interview that's up on the channel. In Switzerland, the film is also widely accessible on Netflix. It's just go out and see this movie is sort of also the message that it kind of puts forward, as the premise of this film is you are on not the night shift yet of a hospital, but the later times, the I guess evening shift. They're short on staff. Someone doesn't show up. This is sort of the larger representation. It pretty directly put that there's a shortage of medical workers, of nurses, and it's funnily enough in it's not that funny, but in the sort of crisis that we're living in as well, where jobs are very scarce. The one sector that keeps on hiring is elderly care and just medical, that sort of whole side of the job market is always in need for more people, because in a way it feels like it altruistically is seeking the blood out of you and your energy, because it needs that for the sort of job for you to function with the empathy that you kind of need to bring to it. Honestly, it's like not something that you need to have, but it feels like a lot of the people who do that work do have it. And Leonie Benesch is playing a character who very much has that, who has her own struggles that she continuously like has to push to the side to sort of pick up the slack of other people, make sure she doesn't make any mistakes, try to please everyone, and just do her work. Just doing her work. And it's so hard, and that's the everyday. And I feel like there's been a bunch of like medical dramas. Like my favorite show of the year is The Pit, and that's more of like an ER thing, right? So it's a bit more like, you know, high intense stuff. This is more taking care of all of the people as they are like in their rooms. But I'm proud to be a Swiss guy. This is a film that came out of my country, like from someone who shares the same nationality as me. Like it's good, and we don't really have that often. So I'm very proud of Late Shift. And
I was about to say that. I don't think you can say that every year.
I don't. I really don't. No. But yeah, some great performances all around. I think Leonie Benish is just like, she just slips on that glove like so neatly. She draws the blood perfectly. If you've seen the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. She just nails it, right? And I feel like that's just been a given. Every time I see her in a cast list, she's just like such a standout every time. All right, spot number 23 goes to a film that I got to see at the Cannes Film Festival. I actually I didn't talk to him, but I saw him at the festival walking past and talking to someone. Really funny exchange. It's a film by Harry Leighton starring Harry Melling and Alexander Skarsgård. I'm talking about Pillion, a movie that explores I can just read you from the synopsis. A timid man is swept off his feet when an enigmatic, impossibly handsome biker takes him on as his submissive. This movie is playful, it's romantic, it is not exploiting this sort of real life gay biker gang that it like has in the cast, as well as sort of putting something on them that just to dramatize it up. It's very much about this relationship and in sort of a way normalizing that, like maybe that dependency is something that you might be seeking out in a relationship like this. It's very playful. It's also Alexander Skarsgård. Holy fucking shit. He is so incredibly like hot in this film. Like his presence, obviously his physicality as well. Just an all around like good time. It's a hoot and a half when I watched this in a packed theater in Debussy in Cannes. I think Pedro Pascal was also in my screening. Everyone was laughing. Everyone was having a good time. They were basically enjoying every bit of this movie, and I ate it up as well. Pillion, keep it on your radar because I know it's not out for some people yet. At spot number 22. It's a Josh O'Connor movie, and we've had plenty of them this year. There were 4, I believe.
Wait, 4? Oh god.
Yeah, not all 4 of them are on my list. I believe this is actually, this is a bit of a spoiler, but it's the only Josh O'Connor film on this list, and it's the one that I believe the least people have seen so far. It premiered all the way at the start of the year at the Sundance Film Festival. And it's rebuilding. This one takes place after a bunch of wildfires take away the ranch of Josh O'Connor's Dusty, who is living in shared custody or split up with his baby mama, played by Megan Fahey. And there's also like an 8-year-old kid that he has, Callie Rose, who is just eating up every time she is just enjoying every minute that she gets with her dad, but also has this sort of insightful like look or takes him in for the sort of stasis that he's in as a person who has lost their ranch and sort of lost their purpose in life, lost their like stability and their routine, but also see it all in the absence because we never see him with the farm. And this whole movie plays in sort of the absence of his purpose, and maybe if that needs to reshift in what he can provide, what he needs to provide for his family. Does he need to provide his presence, his time, or is it that his own vocation takes priority over this. And then it's just such a quiet, like, lived in sort of experience of this film that, like, I felt myself tearing up just like at the most random moments. I was like, this is such blissful, just everyday existence in the backdrop of, like, you know, something horrible that happened that he lost, but then sort of realizing for this character all that he has left, and hopefully, like, also cheering on that hopefully he finds that as well, that, like, that what he has is actually so plentiful, actually so rich. And I really like this movie. It's also shot incredibly well, and obviously Josh O'Connor is always a pleasant you know, thing to look at and to enjoy. And then Amy Madigan is also in here as not, like, you know, Aunt Gladys. She's just playing a normal character in this. But I also found her scenes to be
the brackets.
I found her to be, like, such a pleasant addition to the cast as well. She plays the mom of his I don't know if, ex-wife. I think they were married. There's obviously, like, a connection that they share beyond, like, just being his mother-in-law. A lot of, like, that history, like, it's just a lot of it, like, made me just slightly grin and maybe tear up a bit. It's just a very emotional movie, but not, like, heavy-handed at all. Rebuilding. Oh, such a great film. All right,
Number 21.
Number 21 is actually a movie that I expected you'd like it a lot, because it is in Dutch.
Oh.
It's from like the countries listed on Letterboxd is Belgium and Sweden. I got to interview the director of this film as well. Julie keeps quiet. Julie zwicht.
Zwijgt.
Zwijgt. Ah, fuck. I said it correctly when I was talking to the director, because I asked him if, like, I said it correctly, and he said, like, he did pretty well. I don't know if he was just being nice though. Wait, Kevin. Also, you, I guess, probably don't have it on your list.
No, it's a 2024 movie for me. That's international movie releases for you.
That is international movie releases, and I didn't get it, like, a proper release anywhere. But it has been out on digital since, like, June of this year, and I hope you seek it out, because this is such a, like, obviously a quiet movie. Julie keeps quiet. She keeps her silence in a way, as the title says, and it's sort of exploring the tense like aftermath of a teacher at like a tennis academy being suspended after he's investigated and suddenly, like, suspended, and then whatever he did wrong, others are encouraged to, like, speak up and tell what was wrongfully happening, and Julie doesn't, for a variety of reasons. Maybe for the reason that she doesn't want to talk about it. Like, she also is very much held back, but you feel like there's a lot going on, and you're trying to figure her out, but then at the same time you're realizing maybe she's also sort of figuring herself out. It's a lot of, like, complexity of things are happening all at the same time. It's, like, great in the sound design, the presentation, the acting, just a standout film that I really enjoyed. That's my spot number 21.
Ooh,
back to you,
wow.
Kevin.
You know what? I again, like, I'm pleasantly surprised. I think we're both surprised a bit of the movie that we have mentioned in this area, especially Rebuilding. I think, you know, the warmth that Josh O'Connor carries with himself on the screen, like in almost every movie of his, like La Chimera, even Rebuilding. So I think that's a wonderful addition. It isn't in mine. I did not see Julie Keeps Quiet sneaking in here, because for me it's such a 2024 movie. And Pillion, can I just say about Pillion, what a marketing, you know, you can talk about Marty Supreme's marketing, but also, like, Alexander Skarsgård having that conversation with his dad on actors. Also Alexander Skarsgård's appearance on Graham Norton and calling it a dom-com, everything. And he also has very fun conversations with Miriam. I forgot her last name at the moment, but those are very fun too, if you want to seek them out on YouTube. But I guess that's back to me.
Back
to
you.
In my camp again. Oh shit! Well, you know, I did say that double feature of Die My Love and If I Had Legs at KQ. What if you add a third movie to it to really, have a bad day for yourself? And that is the only horror movie that is on my list, which is Bring Her Back. The Philippe brothers' second movie, their sophomore film, that is, After Talk to Me. Yeah, Bring Her Back. I don't know why it gets talked about more. I know people talk about Sinners a lot and Weapons and 28 Years Later, but for me, Bring Her Back is the most emotional, impactful one, even more than 28 Years Later, which again is devastating stuff. But here you have, Sally Hawkins. This is the mother. I've said this to you plenty of time, but this is the actress. This is the mother of Paddington in Paddington 1 and 2. This is the woman of Shape of Water that falls in love with a fish. This is the woman from Happy Go Lucky. This joyful person turns into this layered, troubled person in Bring Her Back. And again, Talk to Me, I really like Talk to Me, and especially the energy that the Philippe brothers brought in that movie. But here, they've matured so quickly. I did say mature so quickly, and then if you watch their Instagram, they are making a documentary about wrestling right now, and one of the brothers legit slammed through tables of glass, haywire and everything. So I don't know how much they've matured in that aspect.
They've always been doing that, I guess. They didn't have a stop.
I know. But consider me very surprised with what they brought in Bring Her Back, especially this brother and sister that are going to Sally Hawkins, and the way they are looking for any stronghold to hold on to, and with their troubled youth. Again, the makeup, the horror in this thing. Someone is biting on a wooden table. That shot lives in my head throughout the year. It is so gnarly, disgusting.
You have it in your montage, so I can visualize it right now, and it's so unpleasant. God, fuck me.
But yeah, Bring Her Back, very sinister movie, but for me, it is one of the best of the year. Number 19, you know what? We need something, a bit more pleasant after Bring Her Back. How about Lost in Starlight? It might be devastating towards you, but in another way, because it is heartbreaking, emotionally devastating, as we have this astronaut, this astronaut wannabe that is, put off on the team. She goes back to her country, which South Korea. She's like, I need to make a project to get back into that NASA squad, that team. And she meets a guy, and they're just both bringing out the best in each other. But when she naturally has to leave South Korea again, then it becomes this beautiful tale of how do you get through a long distance relationship. And I just thought it was wonderful. Beautiful animation, a banging soundtrack. Yes, Ewan, this is the best animated Netflix movie of the year with the best music in it, and it is not K-pop Demon Hunters. Whoa. It is Lost in Starlight. I am putting it out there. Everybody can come for me. I will defend Lost in Starlight, my number 19. Number 18, yeah, we go back to a not so pleasant movie, but a very necessary one. In this day and age, which is the voice of Hind Rajab. This movie has changed a lot in its meaning, because we watched this first at the Venice Film Festival, and the war, the genocide in Gaza was still quite clearly going. So it was very impactful for this movie. Again, the way it was made in just 4 months, and walking into the screen, we were like, 4 months, a very sensitive topic. All right, I know it is the director of 4 Daughters, but we did not know what we were in for. And then it becomes clear, this one location movie. Okay, this is how they got it off so quickly in 1 month, because it's shot in one location. Didn't know that beforehand. And as we see this emergency call that the Red Crescent volunteers are having from Hind Rajab, this 5-year-old girl that is trapped in a car and that is under fire in Gaza, and she's pleading for rescue. The whole screening after it was finished, was very silent. You could hear people crying. When walking out, people were hugging, and it was very impactful. And, it was like a statement. and then you rewatch the movie in October, November, after, the so-called ceasefire was instated. Again, not really, but at the same time, there is a ceasefire out there. And all of a sudden, this statement becomes an anecdote, like a footnote in terms of, hey, don't forget about this though, And I think this movie will have that meaning for the coming years. Like, don't forget the things that have happened here. And The Voice of Rajab, devastating movie. I only have one bit, because the discussion about this movie is quite interesting in terms of that people are saying, oh, this is such a manipulative reenactment of things, and at the same time you have people going, you know what, no, this movie is necessary. But it is without a doubt the most important movie of the year. It is not my favorite, obviously. Very tough to even call this movie a favorite of yours, but a very important one. We've talked about this movie plenty of times on this channel, but I think the fact that we've talked about it so many times and we keep bringing it up also shows a certain strength that this movie has. And once again, we put it out there. All right. We're not really moving on to a happier note, because the next movie, number 17, is It Was Just an Accident. I know this movie didn't do much for you, but I thought it was very impactful. And I just want to shout out Iranian cinema in general, because they have produced like banger after banger. And it feels weird to say this about, movies that are talking about an authoritative regime. But I'm just looking at the Iranian movies of these past 5 years. I mean, in 2020, there was this movie called There Is No Evil. Then you got A Hero, Hit the Road. You got Layla's Brothers. Even
My favorite cake.
Exactly. And now you have It Was Just an Accident. I will just say this: the ending is haunting. That final shot of the movie, as we hear a certain noise. I mean, I had chills. And they were holding on to that shot for quite a while. I was like, oh no. Because I think everybody is imagining all sorts of different outcomes as this person is approaching someone else. And also the way that it talks about all these different people and the way they are traumatized by this person that they are kidnapping. It was just an accident. I don't want to say too much about it. It's best to go in blind. But I was really impacted by It Was Just an Accident. Number 16. Look, Ewan, I know this movie is on a lot of people's number 1, number 2.
I know what it is.
And, I do think this movie is heavily American. And I think American audiences love this movie, and I totally get why, especially with all the things that are going on with the immigration thing, ICE, and the way they are treating people there, etc. This movie is very important in that regard, but I don't think, it is hit that heavy for me personally, but I can't deny that one battle after another was a thrilling watch. Especially that final car chase. It is one of my favorite sequences of this year. Leonardo DiCaprio doing his Mexican whistle. You got Benicio del Toro doing his... How many did you have? I had a couple. A couple of what? I had a couple of beers. A few beers. This movie definitely has a cultural impact, unlike another movie with blue people. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking, guys. Please. But Paul Thomas Anderson, my God, will he finally get his Oscar for it? I wouldn't be opposed to it. Also, Sean Penn. Honestly, in terms of if I would make my top 5 actor performance and all that, only Sean Penn would get in for me. Because I think he puts out such a wild performance on here, such a daring one, and obviously Sean Penn, the guy had it in, but I was still surprised that the guy had it in. One battle after another is my number 16. Are you surprised?
Sweet 16. Well, I feel like you'll be very much surprised. I'm not saying which movies and what's on my list and what isn't. For how much I felt like I'm excluding some films off of my list that like are going to be outrageous because they are very much at the top of some of other people's lists. I was expecting Lost in Starlight. You've been raving about that film for quite some time, and I would also second that it is the best Netflix animated movie of the year with the best music as well.
I must realize, because I'm talking about these 5 movies, like you have Lost in Starlight, great, but then you got like It Was Just an Accident, The Voice of Rajab, Bring Her Back. Like those are very dark movies.
Yeah, they're very heavy,
in a row.
And I think it's like a mix of a bit of it all that you get on your list so far. I like it. I mean, the thrills of one battle after another is.
They are high. They are high. Yeah,
they are so high. But yeah, I can see why. Like for a lot of people, it's the favorite of the year by quite a big margin because it feels like it's speaking to something larger of like representing the sort of time in a way where like 20 years from now, this already feels like such a classic.
And the fact that it is Paul Thomas Anderson's like first modern movie because he always has done his movie in the past, set in the past. So
it was just an accident. I haven't rewatched it since Gone. I feel like it deserves a rewatch outside of the festival, sort of binge of 6 movies a day. I just haven't really connected with any of his films yet, but I feel like what I need to do is take in more of the context of like how these movies are made, which are under secrecy, with fear of imprisonment, and then sort of also letting it play in his own experience as being a prisoner, and like encapsulating that through all of his characters, that sort of self-insertion that he usually has in his movies, but not being in front of the camera this time around. I feel like it needs to be reassessed on my end again. And
also, that I don't want to shout the movie out for that reason, just because he might again be in prison. He has been sentenced again. Yeah. I don't know if he's returned to Iran since, but that's not the reason why I want to shout out this movie. Obviously reward his bravery for making these type of films under all the secrecy and the censorship that he has to go to. But I genuinely think it was just an accident. Is that strong of a film talking about the topic that he talks about? So that's why I love this movie. All right, the ball. I throw the ball back to you. Give me your number 20 to 16.
Actually, the ball died. And at my spot number 20, sorry, I'm resurrecting it. B-Gung's Resurrection is at my spot number 20. This was I guess I want to stop talking about it, but like each time, like, where did I get to see this? He saw it at a fucking festival. Look at this fucking prick, he's going to Cannes, I guess, and he needs to rub it in, I guess. But I saw this as like one of the last films at the festival, and it's like you're at the end of your wits, of your energy, having seen like 60 plus movies in like 10 days. Something about this just kind of rejuvenates. Like, this is why I go to these festivals. This is why I watch 6 movies a day at these things, to see like something as sort of in celebration of this all, like of cinema, of all of the different times of it all. And it's like, I don't even want to, like, how do you even pitch this movie to someone who's not already knows of his existence? Like, who would it even be for? If I'm pitching it to you and it's the first time you're hearing it about it, it might just not be for you as well.
To me, I'm all in, but
because if you look at the synopsis, in a future where humanity has surrendered its ability to dream in exchange for immortality, an outcast finds illusion, nightmarish visions, and beauty in an intoxicating world of his own making. And that sounds like, what the fuck is even that? And in the whole movie, you're like, what the fuck is even that? We had so many walkouts at like multiple festivals, right? In Ghent as well. In Cannes, there were a bunch of walkouts. Because this movie starts off with like a 15-20 minute long like side, or like, I don't even know how long it is. But for some time, it's like a silent movie. And that's like where we are in that era of filmmaking. And then it kind of moves through these dreams and the sort of films as like a collective dream and all of these like things. It's a whole experience. And I don't even know if you break this movie apart too much, if I love it as much as I did as like my first experience. But I also had, making my list, I had to kind of readjust that some of these festival experiences this year, especially at Cannes, were so great because it is so rare that we get to fill a room full of people who would show up for a movie like Resurrection. Where would you get that other than like a festival where like people would seek that out? Because these movies don't succeed in like a theatrical window at all anymore. Maybe in limited release if they only are in New York, and then you get, by sheer mass of people, you fill up a room. Otherwise, it's just straight up impossible. So it feels like special to holding on to these moments, especially if it's such a celebration of film as well. You know, we didn't like Shu Kui's Girl later on in Venice, her movie. We didn't like that at all, but I very much enjoyed her in Resurrection, acting in here. Just give the trailer a watch if you are unsure about it, if it's something for you, but I very much enjoyed it. And then at my spot number 19, I have a very straightforward documentary that's honestly, like, I'm bringing down the vibes quite a bit. It's by an Iranian filmmaker, Sepedi Farsi. And the documentary is called Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk. And this was another film that I got to see in Cannes, but I didn't see it in a actual theater. I watched this in the sort of press area on my laptop, and I was in a room of 50 other journalists crying as I was watching a documentary in this press room. It was actually kind of embarrassing to like do that there, and then I was like, no, I'm watching something that is just like deeply harrowing and moving. I am just doing what is expected to do if I'm trying to process what is actually happening on screen. And then this movie is so straightforward because it's just a filmmaker filming her phone as she's FaceTiming Fatima Hasuna, who is I believe, she's a young Palestinian photojournalist. I don't know how old she was, because like, I don't consider this a spoiler for a documentary, because ultimately, you know, you can go into this, but she has since passed away, which is still part of the documentary as well. A part of that, like, that broke me, because she was supposed to attend Cannes, and rumor has it, a pretty confirmed rumor, in my opinion, that Israeli, like the IDF, caught wind of that and executed the whole family for it. It was just so fucking brutal. So this movie is in a way of like a bunch of like dramatized like feature films about Palestine that came out this year, as well as the documentaries which you mentioned with Hind Rajab. Just a collection of all of these stories that are so harrowing that, like you said, it's so important to remember. Like, at one point earlier in this year, I was like, it's a cheesy thing to write on like a whiteboard or something, but I wrote soon Free Palestine will become Remember Palestine, because it's just so much destruction around there. Like, what is there left to free? Because all these people are just endlessly suffering for generations now, and there's no resolution other than, like, at this point, trying to remember all of the people we've lost already. And it is so it's so heavy on you, and I felt that this year quite a bit. And then this movie is just about the connection these two people have as she tries to check in on her, her basically going through, like, not having food for a while as well. And you see sort of that breakdown and her processing, and her being a journalist, she also wants to present in a way. So she's like giving you the facts and everything, but she's trying to like still live through this all, like with the humanity she's trying to hold on to. But you can see that the malnourishment is taking place, where she's like talking about being delirious and not really being able to think clearly, and you see that like sort of process in real time as someone is just like trying to talk to someone else who's not in that situation. And she brings in the Iranian perspective as well, from like the oppression happening in that country. So I feel like this movie is such a rich exploration of like human connection and why it is so fucking heartbreaking as war and genocide just like ravishes it all to the ground. So yeah, very powerful documentary. I think this is, to me, the biggest submission from the Oscar. Like, obviously, I feel like Hind Rajab is likely to get into international feature, but this also should have gotten into the documentary shortlist at least, and it didn't even make that. But very powerful film.
All right, so what's your number 18 then?
Well, I'm not stopping it with the movies that I got to see in Cannes, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, I don't know if you care. But I have Chi Hawakawa's Renoir at my spot number 18, which is another film that I believe isn't really out yet, at least in most places. Yeah, it doesn't have a release date yet that on digital or on VOD. It's the director who also made Plan 75. And this one, to me, it just kind of connected with me in a special way because it's a period piece, or like it takes place in late 1980s in Tokyo, and is about an 11-year-old girl who copes with her terminally ill father and stressed out working mother while encountering various adults dealing with their own struggles. And I saw a lot of people in Cannes not really connecting with this film that much. They were saying like it kind of meanders around. It's about like 2 hours long. It doesn't really get to the point of like what's the story. It has some weird story beats. But I just felt like this movie got to something that I very much also felt being around the same age, a bit younger than this girl, when I lost my dad. And I felt this feeling kind of coming off of that movie, so much of like, oh, you get what this feels like in a way, although different time, like there was something to it that I just like connected to in a very, very like deep way, while I was like the plot points, like all of it, maybe that's not like the most like, the grandest movie of the year, but there was just something to the core that like was like resonating with me. And I don't really have much else to say about this film other than that. Like it really is like, maybe you enjoy it, maybe you don't. It's really just like her having a bunch of run-ins with different people. She herself is more of like a vessel to all of these encounters, more than she has her own like thing to go through. But if it's up your speed, there's also a trailer for it out already. Check it out. I swear I have some more conventional picks later on, okay?
Well, is your next one conventional?
No.
God damn it, Ewan. You were ranting to me about accessibility. What do you mean, bro?
I'm the worst, man. I'm such a pretentious little fucking asshole. No, it's spot number 17. I have Cover Up, the latest film from Laura Poitras about Seymour Hersh, which really resonated with me. We caught this one together in Venice. I guess I'm not stopping with the festival mentions. And this is one that's also Oscar shortlisted, so I hope more people check it out. And it simply is about journalism, right? About like one guy who does journalism well, and he keeps doing it
extremely well.
Extremely well, like being at the core of so many, like, you know, for the past 6 decades he's been at the front lines of political journalism in the US. And then it's also about like him being inaccessible because he's such a good journalist. He has the sort of thing that he holds back, like the sort of information that he's not willing to share for his leads and the stuff that he gets, and the sort of place that he made for himself for not just taking a place and being loud and like being sort of, you know, punching back, having something to say, but also for the quality of work that he does. And it's just such like, I've never heard of this guy. And then I see a documentary about him and I'm like, I'm fascinated. And I'm like, God damn. It's like, and you realize how singular some of these voices are that like shape journalism, and like how much of it is important to upkeep democracy. And I feel like that's another reason why I believe I feel like this is, one of those films, because it's an American journalist, you could say like, oh, America is going to resonate with it as they slide more towards less democracy, and and then having someone who's like fighting against that. But I feel like it is very much a film, very much a global thing, that we have to upkeep, as journalism is very much undergoing a huge setbacks all the time. Like here locally as well in Switzerland, we like having cutbacks after cutbacks. You basically are unable to find any job as a journalist, and we see a ton of them sort of switch careers as well in the last few years. And for that, I found the movie just to be so striking, so important, and just a good time. I felt really informed, I felt entertained, and although it does get repetitive with sort of this new story that how did he cover this one, and like, oh, he's still not sharing anything, but I still found it like incredibly interesting.
I mean, he's truly like an unsung hero.
Exactly.
I do think this documentary will be out on Netflix by the time this episode comes out.
Oh, really? It comes out on Netflix, which is, I guess it's a place for it to be. It's a place. It's on a place where you can watch it easily.
Also, I feel like this movie, you know how sometimes you look at an actor's filmography and you're like, oh, he was in that one. Oh, he was in that one. The same one with this cover up. You're like, oh, you were involved with that one.
Oh, you were the lead guy. Oh, you were doing this. It's like, it's so impressive. Yeah.
You're number 16.
Yes. This one is not a documentary, which already got mentioned on your list as well.
Oh, I know.
David Ossed's Predators, and I mean, we reviewed it recently. There's a separate review that should already be on the channel by the time you see this, that investigation in that Dateline NBC's To Catch a Predator, and like you said, the different chapters, it like sort of explores the involvement of like the sort of chasing, the grotesque, the stuff that is like easy to hate, and then commercializing that and exploring what that does to the viewers, maybe less so than actual victims or participants of the show, and how they reflect back onto it, and sort of their ability to see like maybe the sort of the shortcomings of what they're doing, and then maybe more of like the higher end, top end people who are still kind of doing the same thing, of them just being sort of shone in the light, like, sort of still glamoring for that spotlight, that they're doing something really important, and that not really seeing the nuance of like their impact, or like how big their impact actually is in like destructive ways as well, with the power that they're wielding. And like just a haunting documentary, like very very creepy, very uncomfortable, and it's willing to explore a very personal route as well, of someone's experience, from the director of the film as well. So it's a shame this one didn't get onto the Oscar shortlist, but I hope more people seek it out, because I honestly, like, every week or so I see someone mention To Catch a Predator, and it's always in a positive way. And I just never really, I never was interested in that true crime sort of stuff, of like the exploration, like the exploitation of real lives. No matter how like horrid the thing is that they did, it just always feels like, oh, what are you ogling at? Like, what are you getting out of this for yourself? But very interesting one, and hopefully also some reflection being done as a viewer of what we consume, because like that's also being done in real time, with like social media being accessible and everything being shared, and like what we are willing to share and what we encourage with our time and with our eyes, with our views. That sort of propels it to notoriety as well, if it's just like, a viral video on like some social media platform. But that's my spot 20 to 16.
Yeah, quite interesting. You got 3 documentaries in this row, and it's quite, I really like it.
Mm-hmm. This was a good year for documentaries. It's not going to be the last one.
And we are doing our best as well to watch documentaries. Like a few years ago, we sort of like, like ignored documentaries, but every year was more and more starting to get like into them and seek them out. Actually, I mean, one of your favorite movies of the year was it last year or the year before?
Last year, Black Box Diaries was my favorite.
Yeah. So like, I think
Which
that's why we also
saw the shift. Yeah, it was like hold up, and also one of the biggest like documentary film festivals. I believe it's one of the biggest documentary film festivals. It happens every year in like May or April, in Switzerland. And I just always gotten access to it and never got around to watching a ton of stuff. Because with documentaries, it's a bit harder to binge them. To say like, I watch like 4 documentaries or 3 documentaries in the day, because it feels like you need to have a bit of context going into stuff. Sometimes you need to read up on it later, and it's just also is usually pretty heavy topics. So yeah, it's a bit harder other than like watching Nouvelle Vague into Blue Moon or something like some Linklater stuff. But yeah. Other than that, do you wanna continue on with your
I guess
15 to 11?
You know what? I can name another actor that has been in 4 movies this year, and that is John Magaro. And he has been in, Materialist. He has popped up in Materialist. He has popped up in Mastermind. I think he's absolutely brilliant in a little movie called Köln 75. But his best movie of the year, and the movie that is in my number 15, is Omaha. Absolutely adored this movie. Every year there are these movies that come out, and they have this end title generic where they put some text on it to give more context and to really like hit a punch. I did not know what this movie was about at all, and then all of a sudden you get the end title information that the movie gives you, and it is just a punch in your gut. Because you think, road trip movie. This dad, along with his 2 kids and a dog, go along, tries to have happy memories with them. I'm gonna say it. I do think this is the best child performance of the year by Molly Bell Wright. Again, the way she balances I see what my dad is doing, but I also want to support him and keep this thing going. Is such fine balance that she walks. And again, John Magaro in this movie, he's been such an underrated actor for years. I know a lot of people have seen him in Past Lives. I know a lot of people have seen him in First Cow. I first saw him in honestly Overlord. I think Overlord, the first movie where I really noticed him, and I've been behind this guy since that movie. So it's also a very short movie, Omaha, 83 minutes. A movie by Cole Webley. Let me quickly look. Yeah, this is first the feature film debut. Very impressive in that case. Omaha, go seek it out if you can. I believe it comes out next year. Oh well. Into festival movies.
I mean, it doesn't even have a poster yet on Letterboxd. It really is.
I did have a poster for me, but that's because I have the power to change it.
Oh my god, can I change it too? Wow.
Alright, number 14. Yes, it's another Netflix movie. It is Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is my number 14. We watched this one at Venice. I'll join the flexing with you on film festivals.
Do it. I feel like a prick if I do it only myself.
Well, I do feel like it is important to say that we watched this one on the big screen, and I think that's a total different experience than watching that movie at home, where everybody's saying like, oh, this is very digital looking, it's very fake looking, because that experience wasn't the case at all on the big screen.
Motions moving on or something. Right?
Frankenstein del Toro's is his most sentimental film yet. It is, the human condition, man. Again, it's one of my favorite sayings walking out of the screen this year that I heard. And you got Oscar Isaac, but Jacob Elordi really is the heart of this movie. I absolutely love the ice and the ship on the Antarctic. I don't know where they exactly are, but this movie looks so beautiful, feels so like heavy, and it's gonna be nominated for a bunch of Oscars, and like there's been a lot of things that have been said about Frankenstein, so I'm quickly gonna move on to a documentary. Hey, we're back to another documentary. Hey. But And I'm going to continue with the festival flexing because we watched this one at the Venice Film Festival. And it is Remake by Ross McElwee. The genius of this movie lies in its title, lies in its presentation, and the fact that it is a reflective movie. Because the reason why this movie is called a remake, which is very weird for a documentary, is that this documentary filmmaker called Ross McElwee had a movie that he also debuted at the Venice Film Festival in 2011 called Photographic Memory. And it is, if I recall correctly, it is about his teenage son's addiction. He covers that subject in Photographic Memory. But at the end of that movie, he sort of tacks on a happy ending. Like, I believe my son will be all right. And now we're 14 years later, again at the Venice Film Festival. And this movie is about the death of his son. And he's got all this footage. Because, it was astonishing to me how much footage he had of his family. Because he essentially carries out around the camera everywhere. And this movie does tackle a few things. Like there is talks of a remake of a movie that he made way back earlier called Sherman's March. So, but at the core of this movie is the death of his son. And as he reflects upon certain footage, he's really imagining, like, what is my son thinking at this moment? What could I have done, to gain some sort of a different outcome on this? And it is absolutely heartbreaking stuff. And it does give you the feeling like, maybe I should do this too. Maybe I should just, record something mundane. It doesn't always have to be quite flashy for social media. And maybe if I, just record this moment, and when I look back on it years later, I have a different perspective. And again, this movie is so, vulnerable. The director really puts himself out there in a very vulnerable way that you don't really it's not really a movie that you have to judge. It's a movie that makes you understand him. And so Remake, absolutely adore this movie, but it's such a fragile movie, and it's one that I recommend, even though it's not an easy watch, but it's a good one. Then, oh my god, brother, I was so caught up in that number 12. Ewan, this will be a surprise for you, because I don't think you expect this movie to be this high. But my number 12 is It Ends. Yes.
Ooh. Oh yeah, ends. No, I was wondering when it will show up, because I knew it would show up, but I totally forgot about it.
We did our top 5 horror this year. I said, what, maybe it might have actually cracked the top 5. But the more I think about this movie, it is such a good representation of entering young adulthood, or just adulthood in general, as we see these 4, recent grad people. They head out, they want to have one last fun time before separating, each onto their own little journeys with their jobs or whatever else they're gonna do. And all of a sudden they're stuck on this road that just never ends. And it is such a good representation of, the routine. Almost every day starting to look the same. You wake up, you go to work, you go back. Maybe you have something you do to, relax. You read a book, you watch a movie, and then you go to bed, and you sort of start this whole cycle over again. And this movie does that. And then we also get this movie about how far do people make it, because we're in a time where people really talk about their mental health. They talk about, I'm so close to a burnout, and it's different for everybody. And this movie explores that, and the way that it re-injects itself with some energy at the midpoint of this movie floored me. Because you think this concept might be running on fumes quickly, pun intended. And all of a sudden you get this burst of energy as they keep going. And It Ends is truly one of my favorites of this year. That's why it's so high. And it's a movie that grew on me. I think it is the movie that grew on me the most out of my entire top 25. Really, really like this movie. I think it is still to rent on the Letterboxd video store. So if you can, I highly recommend you do so. Maybe if the price tag
January
is
9th, sorry.
Yeah, maybe if the price tag, puts you off a bit, I still would recommend to rent it, and also to support the filmmakers. It is a bit weird that it's on a rental store, but it's also going to be in theaters because Neon picked it up. It's a very weird, way of distributing a movie to go back into the cycle of distribution. But you know what? I'm not complaining. If that's the way that more people see this movie, then I'm happy that they will. Number 11. You might be surprised that this movie is not in the top 10, but hey, No Other Choice is my number 11. Yes. I know the way you're looking at me. I know. Because I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. Park Chan-wook is the most talented gift, wait, what did I say? I forgot already.
It was technically gifted.
The most technically gifted filmmaker of this generation, working right now. And we've talked about this movie quite extensively on our podcast, so I'm not going to say much more. But No Other Choice, banger movie. Actually, just go watch our review if you haven't already. And I'm going to leave it there. That's my number 15 to 11. A lot of surprises, I know.
Floored. How is what is in your top 10, man? I gotta know. Can we skip over mine? Can we get
No. We have to go to yours first. But I knew you'd be surprised. Yeah.
I was expecting Frankenstein to be on your list, sort of where I expected it to be. I honestly expected Remake to be higher than potentially where it landed. I wouldn't have been surprised if it makes it into your top 10. And it ends, I know you gave that like a 9 out of 10, so I
actually gave it a 4 out of 10.
Oh.
Yeah, it's the only movie besides Bob Trevino likes it that had a 4. Like all the other movies are 4.5s. But again, it just grew on me, and I just love the way it's presented. Again, like presentation for me is key, and I also related a lot to it, and because I'm still
He's in the driver's
same
seat.
sort of area that are in, like stage of my life that I'm with these kids. So that's also a movie that I reflect upon a lot.
That's why I thought that maybe it pops up a bit earlier in your list, so I guess it's a bit of a surprise that it's just later on. But I knew that Omaha stuck with you all year. It's a bit disappointing that it hasn't released yet. I feel like that should have been one that like there's no reason why it takes up until like March of next year or something to come out. Remake as well. There's less than 1,000 people who've logged that on Letterboxd, like 700 or something like that.
Which is what I like the most.
And there's also no distribution for that one yet, I believe. Like there was only the Venice Film Festival premiere.
Yeah.
And it might just be a film that never like this. Letterboxd video store Remake is honestly the best place for it, because I don't see this film, if it doesn't get VOD, like it needs to be somewhere, because it's truly, well, let's not spoil my list.
Hey, that's why we're doing our top 10. We're also shouting these movies out. We're not excluding them from the list just because they're festival films. Hopefully someone will watch it and be like, you know what, let me look into this. All right, but how about you got some surprises for me with your number 15 to 11?
I got at number 15, a film that, yes, I got to see it at the Gun Film Festival, okay? It's another one! But then, now it's at the most widely accessible movie platform now. We've also already reviewed it, so I'm going to keep my thoughts short. But it's Sean Baker's collaborator, Shi Jing-je, which I looked up how to pronounce her name. I totally forgot it. Now I butchered it. But Left-Handed Girl is one of the best movies of the year. It is so well crafted, the sort of iPhone, like dynamic staging and framing. And honestly, to me, you shouted out the Omaha Girl as like the best young child performer of the year. It's 6'7". It's a bit sorry. To me, it would be Shi Yun Ma, I believe is her name. No, that's the teenage girl. But the youngest girl, she's incredible in this as well. we have a pretty extensive review of this film that is non-spoiler up on the channel if you're interested. It's also streaming on Netflix. I feel like the Sean Baker involvement should have gotten more people already interested in this film, and I believe it's on the 15 picks of the Oscar shortlist. I'm pretty certain that it won't make it further than that because it's not going to get shouted out again by the Oscars. Let me do it. Go check out Left-Handed Girl.
Just quickly, the competition is just that strong this year in that category.
I might have it over some other picks that will get in. Like I said, accident. But yeah. Anyways.
Alright, number 14.
I got another documentary in here.
Ooh.
This is, to me, the strongest documentary that released this year. I got to see it early in the year at Sundance digitally. It's also now over on Netflix. It's The Perfect Neighbor. It's also a very much talked about documentary. It's one that is one of the frontliners to get that actual win for best documentary. So it feels like this is a bit less for me to shout out. I feel like it's hopefully already on a lot of people's radar. It already has almost 150,000 likes on Letterboxd. So it feels like it's already been seen by a lot of people. But if you're not familiar yet, it's basically a story told through a lot of footage of police body cam footage that reveals sort of what's going on in a neighborhood and a dispute that ended up turning fatal, and the sort of stand your ground laws that seem like they just don't make any sense if you feel about them, if you think about them a bit further than stupid Second Amendment sort of brain. And I found this to be then a not just the sort of Netflix slop of true crime. This isn't true crime, right? It's unfortunate that it kind of gets thrown into the same sort of because Netflix so shit at curating stuff that it pops up Perfect Neighbor is right next to the poop cruise. they can be next to. You haven't heard about the poop cruise documentary, Kevin? I feel like you haven't experienced.
I think I did. I just forgot about it.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate on the curating side. But at least you you get a really, really well-made documentary that is quite emotional. That with the limitations it has and sort of what it has footage of and what it can depict, it paints such a clear picture because everything that's not on screen you can so clearly fit it in because a lot of it is it feels like you've already experienced it. It feels like you're just going down the predetermined route until you get to a place that is the fatal outcome, the sort of notions of going down the same road of this neighborhood of plenty, that you're just you're why does this keep happening? And why do we keep let it it's such an outraging documentary as well. I think that's all I'll say about it.
I will say I recommended that documentary to a friend of mine, to Simi, and he watched it and he wrote to me this is a documentary that I stayed with me for days.
Yeah.
And it was true one that fuels you, enrages you. So yeah.
Because you get an understanding of that whole neighborhood through the police rocking up, the police being sort of called there all the time, knowing that there's something that someone who's calls in who's just was being racist and doesn't really doesn't is in addition to the neighborhood, and otherwise really they're just being kids, they're just living, and someone is not letting them do that in a way.
But also I just quickly want to re-mention Predators, because there's footage in Predator that sort of originated body cam. Because and then also you got The Perfect Neighbor, which mostly gets told to body cam footage. So I also think that makes for a good double feature.
Yeah, definitely makes an interesting double feature. Yeah.
All right, so then we're at number 13 for you.
We are a film that you didn't love that much, but me it kind of stuck around. We also talked about this one recently. We got into our first argument over this. The Preuves d'amour, Love Letters, is all the way at my spot number 13. It's just a movie about motherhood, about like a sort of recent change in France's law for same-sex couples to get possibility to get married, and it takes place in the spring of 2014 as they are having a kid, or at least Monia Chokri is carrying a kid, and Ella Rumpf, her partner, wants to adopt a kid, but there's so many hoops that she has to jump through, where she has to have des preuves d'amour by 15 letters from people in their immediate life who can attest to her being a good fit being a mother after, I guess, the baby has been born. And it's then like a movie about their relationship, on Ella's character to sort of get a few to get that in line, to line it up so she has a couple of people who write those letters, but it then becomes way less about the sort of impact that these two had at like getting the first adoption done, and it's way more about the relationship that Ella Rumpf's character has with her mom, who was an absentee, who chose career over spending more time with her, the resentment that she holds, and sort of the complexities of womanhood, of motherhood, of the sort of identity you feel in parenting, how maybe you are overwhelmed by the feeling of like a baby inbound, and how you don't know what you're doing, but maybe you learn just by doing it. Like all of that, like it sort of explores in a very French way, where they're just like hanging out, they're smoking a cigarette, and then they're fighting, maybe a bit of sexy time as well. That's basically the movie, and I just had such a great time with it. I think it's got such a great core at the center of it all, but I totally can see that maybe it like you don't connect with it on every sort of level, because it does get in this sort of French way a bit repetitive on just hanging out a bit. Sorry, he's catching a stray, right? But I also just said yesterday when I was working at the theater, I saw someone like talk about like this movie. I was like, oh yeah, the Preuves d'amour. Yeah. Not really anything special. I was like, after fisting, I was like, ah. Let me tell you, it's actually a great movie. And so like it might not be for everyone, but I really love this. There's at least every year there's at least one French film that it feels a bit more like a hangout movie that makes it into my like top 15, top 20 that I just really enjoy. And this year it's Love Letters.
Hey, the French know how to do it, you know.
They do know how to do it.
And number 12.
Well, the Australians also know to do it. This is my favorite animated film of the year. Lesbian Space Princess. What a just fun to be had with this film that is cracking jokes all the time. It's about anxiety, the sort of finding yourself, but not really your sexuality, because we are in like a sci-fi comedy that is self-described as queer as fuck, because they are basically on a planet that is all like lesbians, and then chasing her girlfriend who just broke up with her. She sort of leaves that safety bubble, which is in the movie literally a bubble around it, and then it just goes into the world, and obviously you bring in so much of the lingo, the sort of way we talk about these things, and then it just manages to make all of that into visual jokes, into just Australian banter jokes, and just straight up jokes, and it's just funny. It's funny. It's visually inventive. It is such a blast at like 87 minutes. It just flies by. We've also talked about this one briefly already when we talked about like the best animated films of the year. I already said that it's my favorite of the year, but yeah, I was quite surprised that it's like all the way at number 12, but I was looking at the other films and was like, no, I had such a great time with it. I keep recommending it to people because it's about to release here locally early in 2026, and I hope you seek it out as well, because I believe it came out back in November digitally in the States. So if you want to get a copy, you should be able to get your hands on that. But Lesbian.
All right, one more movie before we get to our top 10. Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. Well, oh my god, I thought this was in my top 10, but I guess it isn't.
You want to change something?
No. Well, this is a filmmaker who has had a movie in my yet to see for next year, who I haven't seen. You should already be able to guess the movie, what it is. It's also a filmmaker who had more than one movie come out this year. His movie just The other one that didn't come out played at a festival, but is coming out at some later time. It's with an ensemble cast starring Marissa Abella, Regé Jean Page, Naomi Harris, Tom Burke, Pierce Brosnan, Michael Fassbender, Kate Blanchett. It's Black Bag.
Oh my God!
Black Bag is such an underrated banger, and it needs to be studied why this movie isn't talked about more by more people, why it isn't scratching coming onto, like, I was about to say, like, why is it not on more people's top 10 list? And I was like, fuck, I'm one of those people. It's not on my top 10. It's actually at my spot number 11. But this is such a well-crafted movie where, like, after this movie, I told you, and I saw this before I got to see Presents later in the year, I was like, I'm never doubting Steven Soderbergh again. Whatever fucking gimmick he does next, no, he's the man with the sauce. Steven Soderbergh knows how to direct, how to edit, and how to edit before he even shoots the scene, how to stage his characters, how to make a scene have meaning and have tension when the main attraction of this movie is like later into the film, a like scene around the table. And it is like, I think that scene has been adequately and appropriately talked about online as well, like praised a bunch. But there's also like a video I saw earlier in the year where someone was like going over the details of like why Black Bag works so well. Another video I can very much recommend. But yeah, man, it's just like a good old spy thriller that like isn't an action comedy. That is just like straight up serious, just the drama aspects of it all. Try to keep up, pay attention. It's got some interesting character dynamics, and it's just like the most solid movie of the year, I gotta say. Like, it's so solid, it's so well made that like how great it is probably goes by you, and you just kind of might be a dad movie that he really enjoys, like the spy stuff. It's like no. No, you just missed out on greatness. This is, Black Bag at my spot number 11.
Okay.
Any surprises?
Well, I want to add a few things. So Lesbian Space, because I'm literally writing your top 25 down because haven't looked at it. But you said your Lesbian Space Princess. I would put it behind Naked Gun for hit like joke to a minute ratio.
Yeah.
You know? Like it has that much
or
going
maybe
for
Naked
it.
Gun is in my top 10.
Wait, what?
We'll see. I don't know.
But I think now, as we're getting closer to our top, I think we are seeing the movie that we both know, just hit differently for us. And because Love Letters, again, even the title itself, Love Letters, and it isn't really much about those letters. And I think oftentimes people perhaps that go into that movie are expecting it more to be about those letters and the topic that it starts out at, and then it sort of diverges into another lane.
Yeah, I think the French title is a tiny bit better because it's like the proof of love, like proving your love, and I feel like that can be interpreted in a few more ways than, I mean, you could also interpret love letters differently, but yeah,
absolutely. Okay, I don't have much to add. I think Ewan, let's get to it. Let's get to our
Let's
top
get to the
10.
juicy stuff, Kevin.
All right, so, oh my God, no other choice didn't make the top 10. Then what did? Silent Friend. Silent Friend is my number 10 of the year. And funnily enough, I did have this movie on my radar as we did our most anticipated of 2025. And I was the only one to have it. Apparently,
you were like on
the
Tony Leung train. You're like, gotta keep that man on my radar.
Exactly. But you also have Lea Seydoux. You have Luna Wettler. And you have one more actor that is playing the 70s part. I do have the cast in front of me. I'm not sure who of the one these
Enzo Brum, I think is his name.
I think so.
Yeah.
But this is a meditative movie. This movie, you were talking about hangout movies. Silent Friend is like a massive hangout film, because it was later in the film festival as well. We watched it at the Venice Film Festival. I do have to flex that. But apparently a lot of people have watched it. It has like 4.1k logs. It will come out in theaters in the beginning of the year. I see in a lot of theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a vibe. It's just a vibe movie as we see these people. And it's just about science. It's also a movie about science. They're all exploring trees, plants in their own way and their own personal connection to it. It's also a fun movie because there's a certain 70s part. I do believe this movie has 3 periods. It has, I believe, the 1910s or even somewhere around that. You got the 1972. Oh wait, I actually see it's 1908, 1972, and then during COVID. It's so interesting to see these 3 different periods, and especially the way people are curious. 1908, we have Luna Redler's part. Her part got massive applause during the Venice, and we joined that applause. Then you got this 1970s part that is really fun, and then you got this 2021, which is more about connection, but they're all tangled together by being curious, by seeking out something that you don't know yet, that you want to discover. And it's a mutual feeling that every person on this green earth feels. So yeah, Silent Friend, great movie. Number 9, you already mentioned it, Left-Handed Girl. So again, this top 10 actually, like, I would say like 15, even maybe like my top 12 are all movies that at the end, because there are movies that are in my top 25 that you are like, maybe, I expected that higher. And at the end, when looking back on my list, I was just like, I need the movies that I had a personal connection to, that I loved the most, that I look back on and I was like, that what, I get why that was in my 10, 12, 25. And Left-Handed Girl just feels right at number 9. You talked about it a lot, but again, I had a hot take that I'll repeat again now. I do think Left-Handed Girl is better than any of Sean Baker's films, because Sean Baker always does a massive switch up or swing in his third act, and this movie has that as well, but it's more of a twist instead of a swing, and that's why I think it's better than any of Sean Baker's work. But Sean Baker's footprint is still heavily felt in this movie, as he produced it, as he edited it as well. I don't remember if he wrote it. He wrote it as well with Shin Shin-soo. You talked about it plenty. We talked about it plenty already. There's a review up on it, so go watch that one if you want. Number 8. Ewan, I know what you're thinking. When is this guy gonna mention it? This guy is allergic to movies over 1K locks. I know. Rewrite is my number 8. And it is a blind watch. If you're going to see this movie, I beg you, do not watch the trailer, because I was actually baffled when I saw the trailer and how many plot points it revealed, because I went to it blind, and it is a massive surprise. I'm gonna say the beginning of this movie, because I think the beginning of this movie is way more interesting to say. So you have this girl. Somebody asks, hey, can you bring this book back to the library? She does so. All of a sudden, there's a guy that, sort of teleported there. And he's like, oh, shit. I guess you can't really unsee that I just got here. And she's like, no, not really. Are you from the future? And then they have like a sort of 20 days of summer, of like special being together. And then he's like, the reason that I came here is because I read a book in 2311, so it's from that year, and I came back to this period to sort of experience this calmness, this, how beautiful this area is. And she's like, I'll write it. And from that point on, we see how she's sort of struggling to write this book. And this movie is about authorship, and I just love the way that it explores that. And it is also a very fun movie. And I just also love some of the dialogue as well. So Rewrite, I know it is not accessible. I'm sorry, but if you watch it, also it's written by the guy that wrote Beyond Two Infinite Minutes, River, Summer Machine Blues. I forgot the title, but heavily recommend Rewrite. At number 7. We have an Icelandic movie that honestly made me want to get an Icelandic dog, especially the way that the one that is in this movie, because God, is he a good boy?
He is a good boy.
The love that remains. Yeah, I absolutely adored this movie. The way this movie portrays time with a certain like scarecrow and the things that the kids do to that scarecrow. Yeah, I just love it. I'm gonna read synopsis for this. Tenderly captures a year in the life of a family as the parents navigate their separation. Through both playful and heartful moments, the film portrays the bittersweet essence of faded love and shared memories amidst the changing seasons. And I just love that synopsis. I love the poster, the way that the guy is cut out of the family picture. The ending of this movie is so good. I love the love that remains. And it's tough for me to convey my feelings about this movie because the way it gets told and the way that this is acted is tremendous. Absolutely adored the love that remains. And then we got one more, number 6. It is a Netflix movie. Oh, now which one is it? Because they released a few bangers this year. It is Train Dreams. Train Dreams did just not make my top 5, but simplicity is key oftentimes, and Train Dreams nails that simplicity, but conveys it in such a beautiful way, with some stunning cinematography. Again, William Hay Macy. There are a couple of performances this year that are scene stealers. You got Matthew Lillard in The Life of Chuck, and you got William Hay Macy in Train Dreams. But that doesn't take away from what a strong performance Joel Edgerton brings in this movie. And Felicity Jones once again reminds us why she's an Oscar-nominated actress. I know she's really good in The Brutalist, but I prefer her in Train Dreams because you feel this love that these two people have. You get why he stays in the headspace that Joel Edgerton is in. He's in a room where time just stopped. Funnily enough, sort of with Rewrite as well. I do feel like those two movies balance each other quite well. But Train Dreams, a lot have been said about this movie. We've talked about this movie as well quite extensively. So Train Dreams is my number 6. I don't know if there are any surprises for you there.
This is the cinematography 5. Maybe I would exclude Rewrite, but Silent Friend was shot so well. Left-Handed Girl is such a different approach, but it was such a stunning looking movie, even though it was shot on like an iPhone. Love That Remains, honestly, bro, some of these shots in that movie were so
I know what, it's quite funny that you look at it, because I do think this is visually, and if we're gonna divvy it up, yeah. I think so as well. There's some some of these I also don't know, do these movies that I just named scream out Kevin? Because I have a feeling that these movies sort of do.
I think Left-Handed Girl and Silent Friend not as much as Rewrite does, obviously, but I feel like The Love That Remains and Train Dreams make a lot of sense at a first glance for you. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm curious at a glance of your number 10 to 6. Again, I do not know, so
yeah.
I'm curious.
Well, I feel like I'm never stopping the train. I feel like for the rest of these, most of them I have seen at some sort of festival. So it's just a reminder to me that when I'm applying and hopefully getting into Cannes again this year, that it's where I'll see the best movies of the year. I got another one that we both saw at Venice together. That was honestly, I said my favorite documentary of the year that came out was The Perfect Neighbor. The one unreleased was a movie that you talked about earlier, Ross McGalvey's Remake. I feel like I don't want to say much more other than what you've already said, and we'll move on pretty quickly. We did review this film. I think we have yet to clip it because there's no footage available for it, and we'd like to have a bit of visual, give you sort of an impression of it, just not just us talking about it, of what the film is like, and with it not having distribution or anything yet. Again, not Netflix. So fuck Netflix. Fuck. now I conjured up a spirit. It's like you say Bloody Mary 3 times in the mirror, and Netflix just pops up and buys it. Letterboxd Video Store. I think this would be the perfect place for it. But I really, really enjoyed our conversation that we had about it in our Venice recap, because it felt like we took the time to assess what we loved so much about this film. It's sort of the vulnerability that you have to settle in. Like it's a documentary. It's almost 2 hours long. It is a very repetitious, repetitive documentary, and I say that as a compliment because with each repetition, it sort of unpeels a layer of vulnerability to go further in the process of like losing your son, and also the life you've lived that is always being filmed, and the sort of focus you pull on like what is actually in focus for you right now, like sort of do you view things differently, and having an ability to always look back with like perfect accurate memory at the thing that you pointed the camera at, like it is there's so many layers to uncover despite on top of just like his personal process of this thing. As he like goes through that, I feel like we, like you said, we get an understanding of him as a person, also an understanding and appreciation for his son and the complexities and struggles that he lived through. This is such a like human movie, which feels really silly to say, but like we rarely get to capture someone so fully as Ross did with his son and also himself in this. And it's honestly like, I feel like one of the most moving things that I ever got to experience being filmed, and something truly special. Remake is one that you should really, really make the time for.
Can I ask just one more thing? Because there's also footage that the son shot that the dad, that Ross McElwee didn't see.
Oh, and just, no, don't mention that scene, you're going to make me cry.
yeah. And just the way that he narrates on top of that footage, his thought process.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'll shut up now.
Man, yeah, no, you do need to. Oh my God, I'm thinking back. It really is incredibly moving. I feel like I'm not gonna have to hold back my tears because like the next two movies are all tear jerkers in
also
one way or another.
Jerkers, yeah, right.
My number 9 is the special jury prize winner at the Venice Film Festival. The voice of The voice of Hind Rajab. It won the special jury prize, I believe, right? Everything that you just said. Also, I feel like we got a pretty solid review of this one out on the channel as well, of Venice, and I think we talked about it plenty. I've talked about it especially plenty, going into the very details of why I think this movie is so important. You said it's the most important film of the year. I would second that. It's like a sort of outcall, a ongoing scream for injustice, and
I mean, it's the movie we've championed the most. It's the movie we talked about the most out of all of them, I think. So,
exactly. So that's my number 9. At number 8, I have a film that, like, if you make it through the last 20 minutes or 15 of it without shedding a tear, you haven't seen it yet, Kevin. It's Chloe Zhao's Hamnet, with the best female lead performance of the year by Jessie Buckley. Holy fuck, she blew me away. I also listened to the audio. I didn't fully read it like back and forth, but I think the differences that it takes from the book, which sort of jumps around in time, and this stays pretty linear, having Shakespeare as a character as a sort of reveal, as it is like a reveal to the character of Jessie Buckley as Agnes, is something that is such a great choice. And I didn't spoil you there, Kevin. That's like really the focus is on her, and it says like a powerful story of love, of loss that inspired the creation of Shakespeare's timeless masterpiece Hamlet. It's sort of a collective process of, to me, what art can feel like in a room full of people. And having gone to a couple of festivals this year and for the last couple of years, when you feel that moment, when you're like, this is what we do for most of with most of our time on this precious little ball of water and earth, is we go into a dark room and watch a movie, and hopefully we get to do that with a bunch of like-minded people who will enjoy the experience hopefully just as much as we can, and go in with an open embrace. And this whole movie is like certain feelings of trauma. You're always backed up. You like want to hold back. It's like we repel back into, like we go back into our shells as we hurt. And I feel like there's also, with the understanding of all of this hurt, and the lingo for it all. I feel like it's way easier to like, you know, self-declare yourself as like for it in our current times, to like then recede back onto our screens, and we are just at home and not really connecting with each other as much anymore. And then when you have a rare moment when a movie captures that in like a time period of Shakespeare, of like how we collectively heal through art, I found that so incredibly moving that I can't think of like it is one of my favorite endings of the year, because it feels like it represents that. The whole rest of the film, I feel like, doesn't match that greatness up to that level, but like to me, that ending is like, it's up there with the ending of Yi Yi and one of the all-time greats.
Damn.
And the rest of the film is very much like a lot of trauma, of a lot of like going through the just trying to live your life and be a mother and hopefully have your children not die. Essentially. So like I get why a lot of people, you know, call this movie emotionally manipulative and whatever. It's like I get where they come from. I feel like they're wrong, because her character in this film is very much someone who is like knows the farm life and nothing else, and the reluctancy to like say, what are you doing here? Why are you putting on a silly fucking play, you know? And you can look at the same way at movies as well. It's pretty silly to like, quiet on set, roll, speeding, action, and then you act out a little something, edit it together, and then we all like, oh my god, this is a masterpiece or whatever. But this movie kind of, you know, represents what it is, at least in the last bit of it. Yeah, I can't wait for you to catch it as well. We're gonna do an extensive.
I think you're forgetting something. I think you're forgetting to shout something else out. Also by Jessie Buckley. That you listened. The audiobook?
Oh yeah, I said yeah. Oh yeah, what I forgot to say, I listened to the audiobook. Yeah, I said that and read alongside it. But yeah, Jessie Buckley also read the audiobook for this, and I feel like it just goes hand in hand with her performance as well. It's really well done audiobook as well. Where she reads the whole thing. They should do that more often. Because I try to read as much as I can beforehand for movies that we cover, and I struggle to find the time. So having an audiobook is just it's just a bit neat. So I can like, as I'm walking somewhere, I can listen to it as well. But yeah.
All right, give me your number 7.
And number 7, you talked about it just before as well. Another film that we got to experience in Venice together. It's Silent Friend. A movie that you described as a hangout movie, and I would agree. We hang out in 1908, in 1972, and in 2020, and I feel like 2020 has already become a period. You know, even though we're only 5 years removed from it right now, it already feels like that's where a period can be set in. And yeah, I love the exploration of the curious mind, the trying to connect through that like science in a way as well, on the individual level, but also on like trying to understand the plants too. But I feel like none of it is like that serious. None of it feels like it is about something grander, about a big reveal, about the justification of this sort of scientific endeavor that is just like endlessly curious for the sake of like, oh, the big reveal. That's not what it's about. It's about being curious and staying curious and hopefully getting other people curious for your curiosity, like the relationship between Tony Leung and the groundkeeper at that university. I feel like it's one of the most heartwarming things I've seen all year. And I really enjoy Luna Vedla in it. She steals some scenes as well. And I also love how it visually differentiates between those time periods, hers being in black and white, the 70s one being clearly shot on like some like I think 60 millimeter
like some film stock,
some film stock, and then Tony Leung and Lea Seydoux being on the most high end, best connectivity sort of iPads. You'll get it when you see it, but I love the amount of different like topics it tackles, how Luna Vedla's character is sort of refocusing her curiosity in a way as well, where like she has to make the path for herself, but then the path she's about to create might just be linear, but maybe she doesn't want to like stay in that lane. She just goes where her curiosity takes her. And the same goes with the guy in the 70s who's like has a crush on a girl, and he's like babysitting a plant at one point, and like that's about the plant that he like like this sort of experiment there. And then Tony Leung, you didn't mention it again, but we mentioned it in a review that like the opening of his scene is like him throwing a ball of light around in the darkness, and it's like the focus that you place, and it's sort of also a representation of the whole movie in a way where like the whole room, the whole world is constantly brightly lit up with where you could place your curiosity, where you could place your attention. And like a baby, you know, like a baby can't really do that, right? But like as a brain needs to do, you need to sort of keep that light going, because it can fade a bit. That like, you know, ultimately you get consumed by the darkness of nothing really piquing your curiosity because you're also constantly stimulated. But like, it's a movie that after that, I wanted to watch more movies. I wanted to watch more stuff from the people involved. I like so many things that it just like rejuvenated us. Like we say often at a festival towards the end, we kind of want that film, and I feel like you have that same experience if you watch it outside of a festival, because it rejuvenates you for life, and the excitement of your own curiosities in life. It's just like it's so life affirming. It's so well shot as well. I love the ending shot, which I don't want to spoil, but I also want to spoil so badly. It like plays with your patience, but then also takes in the whole movie at the same time. I absolutely adore it. It's a big fucking tree, man. That's what the movie is about. I love it.
I want to add one more thing, and it's an experience for both, because when we were watching this movie and we both were feeling rejuvenated, oftentimes we look at each other, and I think we both had like a smile on our face throughout the film.
I looked at you with the most stupidest fucking big ass grin at one point, and you were like, I think you were like, what's so funny to you? I was like, just having a good time. I like we didn't talk, but like we just having a good time. And this movie is like almost 2.5 hours long, and I would stay for 2 hours longer. It was just such a vibe, man.
Yeah, the energy of the movie is very infectious. Like it really like gives over onto the audience member. Mm-hmm. All right, your number 6.
My number 6 is a film that I had the best theater experience with all year, and unfortunately, it wasn't with you. It was a film that it was a film that I got to catch in Gun. It's a straight up a documentary. Documentary. No, it's not a documentary. It's a comedy. I'm losing my mind. We've been talking for a while. But he also made a movie called The Climb. Him and his friend Kyle Marvin, this is also Michelangelo Covino, basically just, you know, cycle up a hill and talk, and then it's a few different chapters. And in Splitsville, if you add Dakota Johnson and Adria Arjano to the cast, and you already had me interested with the latter person. And then it's sort of exploring the perilous endeavor of a polyamorous relationship that isn't thought through at all. I was quite surprised, because this also played at the Zurich Film Festival, and a lot of my mutual like colleagues were all like shitting on the movie. They were like hating on it, and I don't know what they were expecting. Maybe they were expecting a more introspective look at like, or less tongue-in-cheek humor about this polyamory, other than like the staging of like, if you do that, there can be many people in a room, and that can make things funny because they quip constantly. And I was just like, this was probably the most energetic movie of all year. Like, there's constantly something going on. The whole audience in that theater vibed with it. I did as well. And it was the biggest laughter I've ever, like, we watched Broken Rage together, right, in Venice, and people were loving that, were clapping before. This was the most laughs out of any screening I have ever had. Well, like, I was like, okay, wait, can you stop laughing? I wanna catch what they're saying again. And yeah, man, it's just like, also, I guess at the first 10 minutes of the film, you see a lot of dick. For a movie that is like plentiful. I've seen enough dick for like the next like 30 movies, but but it's just, it's just a very fun film. Like, I don't know. Like, it's the sort of film that, like, you don't expect to have a 12-minute action scene in the middle of it out of nowhere. It's just like, ah. And all of it is rooted in constantly making jokes of it all. And I think what people might want out of this is like maybe some more likable characters that you're rooting for to be together. And I don't want to spoil where it ultimately leads to, but I think I was sort of enjoying that they're miserable with each other, because like they all make each other miserable for their dumb actions that they do. They feel selfish. They feel like they that others owe them something, like back and forth, like the whole parenting thing for as well. Like they're such horrible parents to that kid and to the messages they instill onto him, and it's just like gets played for like so not heavy-handed, not like winking at the camera at all. It's just playing it straight, and yeah. I really had a great time with Splitsville. At one point, this was my first 5-star movie of the year. That after the first screening, I was like writing out my Letterboxd review. Yeah, it's actually that great or something like that. I've rewatched it the other day, and I moved it back a bit as I watched it in the like back room of a theater thing as I was screening another movie, and I was like, I was still laughing like enough that I was like, oh, I gotta be quiet, otherwise they hear me in the actual theater. But it wasn't as like, you know, grand as the first time watch. But yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, Splitsville still hasn't been seen by that many people, so
I think it's a spiritual successor to Hitman, to last year's Hitman. I think that's the...
I just want to see Adriana Arjano in a romantic comedy.
Right.
Is what we've realized about me right now. Maybe it's just simple pleasures. Anyways, do you have any other surprises from my top 10? It's a lot of crossover.
Yeah, well, I it's only normal for you, like from my perspective, for you to have Remake, The Voice of Hind, Rajab higher. The fact that, you know, a singular moment, even though the rest might be great, but the fact that a singular moment, you know, launches a movie this high into your top 10 with Hamnet. Obviously, I knew you loved Silent Friend. I knew you loved Splitsville, so I did expect those in here. Mm-hmm. Man,
but
have you arrived?
But I guess you didn't know that, like, how far Splitsville slid down. We were talking about that yesterday. That just wasn't sure how.
Okay, you know what? I don't know how similar our top 5 is gonna be now, but I guess I'll go first.
There's one overlap that will both. No, there's one movie probably, I'd say.
All right, my number 5 is Rian Johnson, Wake Up Dead Man. Yeah, it is that high. I just adored this one, and it's quite funny how, you know, this mystery movie, it's not about the Who. I actually didn't really care that much about the Who, but I really cared much more about the why and about the how, and the fact that I was so interested in Josh O'Connor as a character, and his conversations with Daniel Craig. Wow. I did not know Rian Johnson had this type of writing in him, this type of presentation in him. Stunning cinematography. Once again, I really do have to shout out Wake Up Dead Man and Twin Dreams. And it is a bit of a shame that they both are on Netflix, in terms of, like, I would love to see those movies on the big screen, and I unfortunately didn't. But the way that Rian Johnson uses sunlight, the conversation that Daniel Craig and Josh O'Connor have about fate, about storytelling, a certain phone call in Wake Up Dead Man. I saw the screen times for it, and Daniel Craig only has like 45 minutes of screen time in this movie. Josh O'Connor has like 1 hour and something, like more than that. So the rest of the cast really takes a backseat. It's such a refreshing direction 3 movies in this franchise, and this one really feels like the most novelized version of a Knives Out mystery yet. I really felt like I was picking up a book and reading it as I was going along. So yeah, Wake Up Dead Man, love this one.
Number 4.
It's a movie you already mentioned, but it is way higher on my list. I rewatched it just before we are recording this. So Black Bag. Yeah, I watched this last night again. Black Bag is my number 4.
Fuck.
Yeah,
I thought it wasn't on your list, man. I totally forgot about it.
No. Black Bag is up there. And, throughout the year, I oftentimes share and I just ask people like, hey, what are your favorites? Just the way of, garnering new movies and being interested into what other people are vibing with. And whenever I shared mine with Black Bag, people were like, really? Is it that special? And honestly, to the point that when I had Black Bag that high up to my rankings throughout the year, I just kept doubting myself more and more. And I was like, fuck it, nah. I'll rewatch it with my dad. All right. And honestly, from the very first frame, I was reminded why I love Black Bag so much. Because it starts with this sort of Goodfellas oneer. And the music is playing. God, I love the movie. I love the way the style of this movie, because we have these this cinematography sometimes is hazy because we're like, oh, and by the way, Soderbergh with Presence and with Black Bag, his cinematography really has like changed. I mean, I know he has this sort of overexposure in his late films, especially in High Bird or something along those lines, his basketball movie. And I know he does overexposure a lot, but it really feels more concentrated, more focused in his later films. And I think Black Bag is just the ultimate version of his cinematography. Kate Blanchett, Michael Fassbender, this movie rocks. This movie just rocks. And it just feels like an old school classic, but brought in a new, fresh jacket. Black Bag just ultimately rocks. I cannot say much more than that. Number 3. Now, I'll be honest. When first creating the list, because I did lose sleep over making this list.
About as many spots as you got left, you got hours of sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Right?
So, when creating my list, my top 3 was always Dead Set. Like, that never changed. The rest of the list changed, but the top 3 never changed. So number 3 is Resurrection. Bijan's Resurrection. Such a dreamy movie. But this is the problem. I cannot recommend Resurrection to 95% of the people I know. That's a problem. Because this movie tackles the... Bijan has said like, oh yeah, there's a lot of Chinese history in it, etc. But for me, when I look at it, I really see the history of cinema and the way that it's being presented by being inspired by a lot of other directors, Hitchcock, John Ford, etc. And this movie talks about cinema in the 20th century. We start out with silent film, which in my screening, a lot of people walked out as well because they thought this is gonna be the entire movie. I'm out. Then you get the introduction of sound, of music in film. Then you get the spirit of bitterness, which, again, that's the chapter I've been reflecting on to the most because I really didn't get it. But what I've come to my understanding of that chapter is the spirit of bitterness is the entry of television in the audiovisual landscape. There's something dissipating with the entrance of TV. Then you got, sort of the Hollywood brats era where we're starting to learn from our masters and we are coming up with refreshing new work. We are creating new senses and new ways to present cinema. And then you are ending on the digital era, I believe, in sort of the 19s, where digital cinema is coming up and it's told into a beautiful oneer. My God, that is just absolute cinema. That peak cinema would be that chapter, that oneer, where I was absolutely floored with. So Resurrection, I will say, I know a lot of people won't watch this movie because so much will go over their heads, and I'm like, that's not an attack on you because even some stuff got over my head. This movie is that dense, but still with a runtime of 160 minutes. Adore this one. Yeah, what do you want to say?
Do we dare call this the most visually stunning movie of 2025?
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
Yeah, it is. I'm just skipping through the trailer again because it's been a while since I've seen it in May. I can't wait to rewatch it. I can't wait.
And the problem is, it's already released in theaters for me, so I could go rewatch it again, but like it's not really anywhere near me, so I have to travel further. But my God, Resurrection, what a movie! I've bought some of Bijan's other movies, Long Day into Journey's Night. Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, Long
Days in Journey into Night.
Journey in the Night, yeah.
I've bought that Blu-ray and I will watch it because again we're in this catch-up of 2025 movies, so you're really just trying to consume as many. But now we're sort of in this relaxed era where we will catch up on the ones that we mentioned, and now I feel at ease that I can watch that movie again or like his new other work. Yeah. So Resurrection, that's my number 3. My number 2, which really for some people will be my number 1 because my number 1 isn't as accessible, and this movie has already released on VOD, is releasing in Belgian theaters the 14th of January, around that. It is Richard Linklater's Blue Moon. That is my number 2, and we've talked about this movie also quite extensively, I believe twice. Ethan Hawke's, hey, this is my best actor performance of the year. He absolutely nails this role, and he's back and forth with Bobby Cannavale. Bobby Cannavale should be mentioned way more. I know a lot of people are mentioning Andrew Scott and his conversations with Ethan Hawke, especially about the artistic process, but also the conversation they're having around Casablanca and super animated. And you also got E.B. White in this movie, not the actor, but the character E.B. White. How many topics this movie explores in its 100-minute runtime in a one-location movie is absurd. It tackles romanticism, it tackles art criticism, and so many more. Like, I cannot think about it right now. I'm a little bit of blackout, but it's mentioning so many things. And you got Margaret Qualley coming in, and she just hammers the final nail in the coffin of Ethan Hawke's character, Lawrence Hart. Blue Moon, delicious dialogue. I watched it twice in the theaters with English subtitles, and so I could like really engulf myself in every single word they said in this movie. Blue Moon, that's my second favorite movie of the year. Now, what is my number 1, Ewan? I don't know, but right now I feel like going on a fisher boat and catch myself some fish in it's probably a really stinking boat. Like, that boat must stink a hell of a lot. But you know what doesn't stink? The movie Rose of Nevada, Mark Jenkins' movie that came out at the Venice Film Festival this year, starring George McKay and Callum Turner. We've talked about this movie as well before, but I feel like this movie would make for a great double feature alongside No Other Choice, because we have this little town, this village, that 30 years after a certain vanishing is just sort of dead. Like, the town soul has been dissipated. And then we see 2 men that are going on a boat that reappears after 30 years, and they're going out there again. And all of a sudden they're back in time. And this movie is a genre mix of sci-fi, of drama. I don't know how many, science fiction, drama, mystery. It is all of those things. I've talked a lot about presentation, but I think the way a director portrays their topics and the things that they want to talk about is so important. And with Rose of Nevada, where you see this little village rejuvenated after they gone back in 30 times, and they see just how important every like screw and nail is in a certain machine, and that keeps it together. Absolutely adored Rose of Nevada. I can't really talk about it more because it hasn't really been released yet. It's only gone the rounds around the film festivals. I just see it will release in the UK this upcoming April, but Rose of Nevada. The reason why I'm wearing this cap is because there's a red cap that is sort of washed out. So I can't really buy a red cap because that would be too much. But this comes eerily close to the cap that Callum Turner wears in the movie. Rose of Nevada. Mark Jenkins' latest movie, who also directed Bait and Ennismen, is my favorite movie of the year.
No surprises here. Wait, what was your number 5 again?
Wake Up Dead Man.
Oh, Wake Up Dead Man. Yeah, that's to me the biggest surprise that it's that high up. Honestly, not the biggest surprise though, because we gave that one an extensive review as well. But yeah, we both really like this. It just reminds me a lot of films that didn't even make it onto your list, but I know you loved. So just a great year all around for so many.
I guess we'll talk about it with the honorable mentions.
But, yeah, you wanna drop your honorable mentions before?
No. I wanna skip straight ahead to your top 5. But I've been waiting for this moment. I need it.
You need it. Well, my number 5 movie is your number 2. Blue Moon, Richard Linklater.
Wow.
I am a huge fan of Linklater, as you can see by the multiple DVDs of before. Well, you can't see it, but you can imagine that you can see it.
Yep.
Before Trilogy is my favorite trilogy of all time, and yes, I am aware that The Lord of the Rings exists. I love the way that he can craft dialogue and make it seem so natural and so like it needs to come out of these characters. Like it's such a visualization and representation for this character that Ethan Hawke plays with Lawrence Hart, who is a man who needs to constantly have a topic at mind and get all of his thoughts out, because as soon as there is a quiet moment, maybe he goes back to drinking or the self-destructive tendencies that he has. So it's a really tragic tale of a guy who is not enough for the world in his mind, although the world would maybe embrace a version of himself if he would maybe cater to it a bit more, but he doesn't want to. It's just an exploration of like an artist's mind that is convoluted, that is eloquent at the same time, that is very romantic, in parts creepy as well. It's just the complexities of like a person who is struggling as well. It's got it all, and if you read up on like how this movie was made and how long like it kind of went back and forth between Richard Linklater and Ethan Hawke, where he was like saying, "Oh no, you're not old enough yet,"
for like a decade. And then Ethan Hawke like canceling a trip, right? So he was like, "No, you got," like Richard Linklater telling him, "No, you gotta lock in. This all rides on you." To me, it's also the performance of the year as well, because it's such a singular performance of a guy. Like obviously, you could also do this basically as a stage play. The theatricality of it is tangible, but I feel like the way that it like presents it as a movie is also adding a lot to it, like the sort of framing and staging of him as like the short guy. It's like a lot of stuff that maybe goes unnoticed because you're constantly like distracted by the amount of yapping that he does. But there's so many like deeper themes that I like a lot of things that I felt watching the film, unlike any other film of this year. So that's at my number 5. At my number 4, I have a film that was not on your list. It's one that I caught early this year at the Sundance Film Festival. It's Ava Victor's directorial debut, Sorry Baby. There's a line towards the end of the film where the lead character Agnes is like holding up her friend's baby and basically saying something about like sort of you don't know what's ahead for your life, and I kind of feel sorry for you in that way. And that moment has stuck with me so much because it is ever present in a world that I feel like is worsening. To sort of catch the glimpses of a character who's throughout the years of like how she goes about life, how it's not just one note that if trauma has been done to you, has happened to you, that in that stasis, like the complexity of a person was in there. Like there's a lot of humor in this film. Like it's very like witty written film with a lot of comedy, but also like pretty dark comedy as well. The sort of it's about something very serious at the center of it all,
but it doesn't indulge in letting you feel that for taking you along with it, like bestowing that trauma onto you. It is way more about like, how do we all go about working with, like, there was something larger that I took away from the film, although it was very concretely about the thing as well. Yeah, I don't know, like, you get the sandwich moment too. Like, a lot of moments that I'm taking away, these individual moments that like add up to something so nice, so beautiful, in a way tragic. Like, I love a film, maybe you noticed that a bit about me, like that like can do it all in like one swift go. And it feels like it captures it all, but then has those highlights of moments that I can think back to. It really, maybe it's the quantity of films that I watch that I really am seeking the moments that like stand out in these individual films. But yeah, it's fittingly Louis Cancel Me also is in every movie his has a role that says like, oh, you cancel me for whatever I'm doing. Noah Miyake is great in this as well. Kenny McCormack, Lucas Hedges has like a nice.
Hey, he returns. That I was telling a friend of mine like, oh, Lucas Hedges is back, because that guy was in like every movie in like 2017, 2018.
Yeah. I'm just curious as a screenwriter in the future. I mean, she directed, wrote, lead starred in it. So Ava Victor, this is one of the on my ballots for best performance of the year. Ava Victor is also on it. I think her portrayal of Agnes is one of the year's best. So if you have not caught up with Sorry Baby, then you must certainly have to do it now.
Okay, we've gone to the top 3.
Number 3, it's all Netflix slop from here on out. No, I'm kidding.
Oh shit!
But one movie that isn't Netflix slop is on my list here. It was my favorite film coming out of Venice. Initially, when we had a 4-way tie that was kind of undecided, like what goes where. And you have 2 movies in your mind, and you don't know why I said Netflix, so you know now, but like you wouldn't have if I didn't say that. But Frankenstein by Guillermo del Toro is my 3rd favorite film of the year. Honestly think Jacob Elordi, easily his best performance to date, and that's not because his other ones were weak, but just because this is so strong. He embodies this Frankenstein's monster with the sentimentality of a Guillermo del Toro film in here that is romanticizing the creature into something, that can fit into a love story to make him like not overly grotesque, but more of the creature that is misunderstood, that just wants to live, and what that means in contrast to the human, who is the most basic take you can have about Frankenstein. Is like, oh no, Dr. Frankenstein is actually the monster, not Frankenstein's monster. And the way that it arrives with like I love how this movie concludes, and conversations that they have with each other. It feels like it's such a, like, when everything should be leading to confrontation and to misery, even though there is a lot of like harm being done, especially with like the family and the creation thing of it all, to like let certain things like play out and mend in a way, or accept them. I felt like it felt like all of this trauma, the hardship of it all, like kind of washed away in a way. And then, like we said, it's just a human condition, man. It's just him wanting to live, and I love it. I love how it looks. Loved every story beat of it, and makes me really want to read the base novel, which I have not, and I feel like there's more than enough adaptations of it. Another one coming up with the Bride of Frankenstein. There's really no excuse to read Mary Shelley's, right? Mary Shelley is
yeah.
Her novel. Finally, I've had it for years, but I just haven't gotten around to reading it, and I also haven't had a chance to rewatch Frankenstein. And it's like the thing I wasn't the most sure about, if like maybe it's even higher, should it go lower? But I feel like at spot number 3, it's perfect.
Well, what at spot number 2?
You do know my number 1, I believe. So I feel like now it should be pretty clear what's here.
I know. I think I do.
The most visually stunning filmmaker, or technically gifted filmmaker, right, of our generation. It's Park Chan-wook's No Other Choice, the adaptation of the novel The Axe, which sees a character who is a manager at least like some higher role in a paper mill company be laid off when an American buyer takes ownership over the country, or like an external buyer comes in, sees him back on a job hunt that is quite fruitless, and his way to turning that around is to, I guess, eliminate his competition quite literally, as he compares himself to others in this sort of like job market that ultimately is like, you're just at the behest of the big company who is continuously trying to cut out every worker that they have. You basically just like streamlining that. Like this movie is very much about the passion that you have from your ability and your identifiers as a person that go through so much of your like your working life, that is in part as much your life as your family is. You have a happy family life. You have a house. You have 2 beautiful dogs, 2 children that I don't want to say beautiful because that'd be kind of creepy, but and then it's just like Park Chan-wook knows how to present a movie in what the scene needs, and it's not coherently the same from scene to scene. It can just like have a weird sort of transition out of nowhere that you're like, maybe you're taken aback, like, huh? Well, how does that like overall, make you feel in that? It's like, we're already on to the next thing. It's moving so fast that like there's barely any time to process any of it all. And I think this descent into sort of being okay with killing someone to eliminate them is like the characters going through, never really done at one point. So I was along for the ride. I think it's like has great scenes in it as well, individual moments that like had us hooting and hollering. It's entertaining. It's pretty tragic. It's like playing with different genres incredibly well. I mean, I've said a lot about it now again, but we also reviewed it already on the channel. And
also stereo sequence.
if this doesn't get nominated for the international Oscar, I'm gonna...
Well, the decision to leave wasn't, so...
And I fear it might be the same here, where I feel like this deserves editing, this deserves picture, this deserves international feature, this deserves director.
Yeah.
So it also honestly deserves best lead and best supporting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, great movie all around.
Well, Ewan, I know what your number 1 is, but go ahead, buddy.
You know what? Back in 2019, when I first discovered this little movie called The Worst Person in the World, which ended up being my favorite film of 2021, I never really went down further in whatever Joachim Trier had to offer. And then earlier this year, I ended up watching also the 31st of August and Reprise, and was blown away by those films as well, in like processing something that is not really processable, like just looking at humans and feeling like there's a real reality and process happening in real time. And I think it's the directing style that like fortunately enough, Joachim Trier has been in this award circuit run. He's been talking about it way more, the way that he like lets moments play out and let the actors find like the specific lines, or like how, or like not maybe specific lines, but like how to say them. And I think it adds so much, like where you find some actual truth in the moments. And if you have like the cast that is assembled here with Renate Reinsve, Stellan Skarsgård, Elle Fanning, and especially like the scene stealer Inga Ipsdotter Elianas, like the best scene of the film. I saw it recently, like yesterday on my Instagram feed. It was like someone who was collecting the quotes that stayed with him throughout the year, and it was like a bunch of older films. It was this, and then there was a film from this year that was in there. But is like the one about like why didn't your childhood, why didn't our childhood fuck you up, like something like that. And she goes, because I had you. And it's like, it's a moment that kind of, it's not like it comes out of nowhere, but in that moment still, even though they're like close, it's like the one that's been featured on a lot of like the posters. And honestly, if you haven't seen this movie already, what the fuck are you doing? We are talking about a film right now that all of us, the two of us, and you as a viewer have seen. If not, stop this video right now. Go see the film and come back. you aren't really ready for like some of the revelations that I feel like a lot of people have been describing, and I feel like it's so beautiful that like some people were saying throughout the back end of this movie they've just been crying, just because they were feeling the emotions of unraveling the sort of holding on to that hatred that consumes you, that really affects you on a personal level. For what reason, really? When you can't really confront it in a way that is constructive with the individual person that you're holding a grudge against. And it's about like the lingering trauma of like time as well, and how to process that through art. And like it's about filmmaking, it's about so many things. And at the core of it all, you have a really good family drama. Been also been praised a bunch because this movie is honestly has been in awards contention since I saw it. With a group of people who all went to that first screening in Cannes, we all came out and were like, yeah, Palme d'Or winner, and a group of like 20 people were all saying that. And like it was a bit of a surprise when it was just an accident one. There was never any doubt that we are talking about like a very special film here. And I feel like a lot of the conversation was also like, oh, is it better than or less than The Worst Person in the World? And I've kind of moved away from that as well, where I feel like I don't really care about like the individual ranking of this. This movie is really special. Yesterday, at the theater, I last minute took up someone else's shift because they were sick, and we were playing for the first time Sentimental Value, pretty decent showing for that first screening, and the opening montage plays, right? That shows you the house and the time and the song that they got to clear. There's a really good interview or like guessing game with the movie thing that they do on Trackstar, I think it's called, right? Trackstar, where he talks about like clearing the license to use that song as well. I was really busy with prepping this, doing a bunch of cinema work in the background. I was just like from the back of my little cabin through the window to look at the screen. I was just glued to the screen for like the opening. I couldn't look away. It was like, I feel like it's such a perfect opening for this movie. I love the voiceover narration that he does. I don't like voiceover narration most of the time. I seek it every time. I mean, like, please give me that guiding force again. I want to hear the internal thoughts of a person, or like them being described in this like auctorial view to give me this bird's eye view of a person, or here giving you the context of like a whole time, and like the way that it describes about it, it feels so special. And yeah, man, if I had a pick, this would win best picture at the Oscars. It certainly will be nominated. Renate Reinsve, Stellan Skarsgård, and Inga Ipsdotter all deserve to be nominated here, and I would honestly would be so happy if all of them won as well. Just a stellar film all around with Stellan. That should be his nickname. But yeah, man.
Well, I'm not surprised. I know this movie you've been riding the height of Sentimental Value all year long.
And I've revisited it as well. I watched the whole movie again, and it just,
It is not in my top 25, and that might have been due to the fact that the hype was so high that when I watched it, because it came out in the summer, like in August here, but I was impressed. But even Sorry Baby did not make my top 25. I'm surprised Blue Moon is not in your top 3. Like I'm surprised only number 5, but again. It's such a small difference.
Yeah, exactly. With 425 movies watched.
Exactly. So I'll quickly recap my top 25. My top 25 is Bob Trevino Likes It, Predators, Late Shift, Pin the Fartie, also known as Endgame. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You at number 20. Bring Her Back, Lost in Starlight, The Voice of Hind, Rajab, It Was Just an Accident, One Battle After Another. We got Omaha, Frankenstein, Remake, It Ends, No Other Choice, Silent Friend, The Left-Handed Girl, Rewrite, The Love That Remains, Train Dreams, number 5, Wake Up Dead Man, 4, Black Bag, Resurrection, 3rd, Blue Moon, 2nd, and Rose of Nevada is my number 1. Quickly going through my honorable mentions, the movie that I was bummed I had to take out of the top 25 is The Life of Chuck. Then going to horror picks, because it was a great year for horror, but unfortunately they just didn't make my top 25. Weapons, 28 years later. Sinners, Exit 8, The Long Walk, Good Boy, Soderbergh's Presence, Dangerous Animal, and an Italian movie called The Holy Boy. Then a few documentaries, folk tales, The Perfect Neighbor, Cover Up, Louis Theroux's The Settlers, Ocean with David Attenborough, Ghost Elephants, and then 2 things you can literally watch on YouTube. The Toughest Foot Race on Earth and Please Don't Destroy Live. The best stand-up comedy special of the year, because I do watch a lot of stand-up specials to Ewan's annoyance, is Ruben Solo's Please Clap. It's actually also available to watch on YouTube, and I just love the format that he does. A few actioners, we got Havoc, Ghost Killer, which I do think is the best action movie of this year. Sisu, Road to Revenge, Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, Predator, Killer of Killers, Predator, Badlands, The Accountant 2. I am gonna mention The Gorge, and I don't care. I like that movie. Shane Black's Play Dirty, I liked a lot as well. Fight or Flight. 2 superhero movies, Superman, but the best one out of them all is High Five. Then a movie that is not as action heavy, but is as thrilling is Rapaz or Vultures. Then a few festival movies, Motor City, still attached to the action part. Love that one. Orphan, Lost Land, A Loose End, The Sun Rises on Us All, 2 Seasons, 2 Strangers, Peak Everything, Dead Man's Wire, which is supposed to come out the first or second week of January already, Dreams, Blue Heron, Love Letters, which you already mentioned. Then we also got Eternity, 2 animated movies, Boys Go to Jupiter, The Legend of Hay 2. Then we got A House of Dynamite, I liked it, shoot me. We got a movie called Sovereign, Warfare, After the Hunt, I liked it. Sue Me, I guess, for that movie. The Testament of Anne Lee, Shay Kelly, Splitsville, Die My Love, The Blue Trail, Christie, the Irish movie, not the boxing movie, Roofman, The Chronology of Water, DJ Ahmed, Time to Be Strong would be a great double feature with K-pop Demon Hunters, The Ballad of Wallis Island, Sirat, and then you got the movies that, are the really close honorable mentions, which are Sorry Baby, Sentimental Value, Rebuilding, Curlin 75, and I Swear. That's gonna be a fun editing job for you, huh? Putting all those posters next to me.
It's crazy that on neither of our lists, Sinners made the cut on the top 25.
I think because it's such an American movie, an experienced and culturally relevant movie to the United States, and I just don't think, for me, that I related to it as much. You probably didn't as well.
Yeah, there were some editing shortcomings that I really didn't enjoy about the film, and I think that took it down a notch. I really liked the rest of it. I feel like it might be, it's in my honorable mentions, and it's pretty close, I guess, to the top 25. But all right, here's my top 25. At spot number 25, I got The Ballad of Wallis Island. At 24, Late Shift. At 23, Pillion. At 22, Rebuilding. At 21, Julie Keeps Quiet. At 20, Resurrection. At 19, Put Your Soul on Your Hand and Walk. Then I got Renoir, followed by Cover Up at 17. At spot number 16, I got Predators. At spot number 15, I got Left-Handed Girl. At 14, The Perfect Neighbor. At 13, Love Letters. At 12, Lesbian Space Princess. At 11, Black Bag. At number 10, I got Remake. At 9, The Voice of Hind Rajab. At 8, Hamnet. At 7, Silent Friend. At number 6, Splitsville. At number 5, Blue Moon. At number 4, Sorry Baby. At number 3, Frankenstein. At number 2, No Other Choice. And at number 1, Sentimental Value. Then I have a bunch of honorable mentions that are rather few as well, that I grouped into categories like you. First up, I got the films that moved me and made me cry, although there's a bunch of overlap, I guess, with a bunch of... I cry easily, but these movies moved me in a way. The Love That Remains, I got Lost in Starlight, A Poet, One Battle After Another, J. Kelly, All That's Left of You, Train Dreams, Little Amelie, or The Character of Rain, and Lost Land. Those are honestly also the films that are the closest to my top 25, because I do ride high on that feeling of like it actually moving me in a way that makes you move up the ladder. Then I got a category, it's just fun, exclamation mark. So movies I had fun with this year, which includes Sinners, Havoc, Friendship, Predator, Killers of Killers, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, A Nice Indian Boy, Exit 8, Mickey 17, Companion, The Naked Gun, Weapons, The Threesome, Twinless, The Baltimoreans, Predator Badlands, Wake Up Dead Man, Rose of Nevada, and Marty Supreme. I got a few more docs like Louis Theroux, The Settlers, 2,000 Meters to Andrivka, Ghost Elephants, and Who is Still Alive. A few more festival highlights like Obex, Omaha, Nouvelle Vague, Heads or Tails, The Mastermind, Case 137, The President's Cake, Orphan, The Testament of Anne Lee, Dead Man's Wire, Late Fame, Broken English, and The Sun Rises on Us All. And 2 more must-watches, I guess, that don't fit into the category. I wouldn't say that Warfare or Inside were fun, but those are 2 more honorable mentions on my end. But yeah, it goes without saying that there have been so many great, worthwhile films to catch in cinemas and at festivals and at home. I'd love to talk with you even more about every single one of our honorable mentions as well. But that just isn't time. Literally, you have to run right now. But also just in this recording too. And this is the place where we should suggest that you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss us coverage of all the films that we spotlight on the show every week throughout the year. We just started this new chapter, this new season of the show about a month ago, and I can't wait to do it all year round in 2026. Let us know what your top 5, top 10, top 15, top 25, I guess, include in the comments below. Thanks so much for spending a bit of your time here listening to us yap about movies. Hopefully you are stocked up on your watch list for a while and got some films to catch up on. And yeah, Kevin, do you want to do it?
And cut.